That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
Families across Kern County are getting ready for the new school year, and thousands got some help this week at Kern County Museum. I'm Rob Archer. The annual Ready, Set, Back to School Health and Wellness Fair handed out free backpacks and school supplies to kids from kindergarten through 12th grade. The event also connected families with health services and other community resources. Kern County Child Support Services says the program has helped more than 40,000 families since it began in 2009. Kern County has confirmed its first human case of West Nile virus this year. The virus is spread by mosquitoes and is most common during the summer and early fall. Most people who are infected have no symptoms or only mild illness. Public health says people should dump standing water around their homes, use insect repellent, and avoid mosquito bites, especially around dawn and dusk. A 64-year-old Taft man is facing an investigation after deputies say they seized 111 pounds of processed marijuana from his home. The sheriff's office says deputies served a search warrant on Eastern Avenue last week after getting a report of an indoor marijuana grow. Mario Campos was cited and released. The home was tagged as unsafe, and PG&E shut off electricity. Investigators say the case could lead to more charges. Bakersfield new street safety policy is now in place. The city council approved a resolution this week that gives more priority to buffered bike lanes, narrower traffic lanes, and lower target speeds when streets are built or redesigned. Supporters say the changes should reduce serious crashes, but opponents raise concerns about traffic flow and losing vehicle lanes. And the dangerous heat.
You can keep it there if you want to.
Okay, well, I didn't mess with this.
Well, the screen's behind you if you want to look at it, but you look fine.
Okay, yeah. Because I always forget, like, oh, we're talking, you can hear us on News Talk 96.1.
No, that's why it's there. That's your cheat sheet. Keep it.
Welcome to the Roswell. In a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
Too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
You know, I can hear the disappointment out there everywhere that Ralph's not here, but I apologize. This is Rick Bentley. I am here on Fridays doing entertainment reporting with Ralph, but Ralph is on vacation this week, as you probably have heard all week long, and Ralph was either brave enough or drunk enough or whatever. He offered me this 3-hour shift. So I'm going to do my best to fill it with as much material that will help you live a great life. And that ranges from people who are doing remarkable work in this community to some entertainment stories. But I want to get right into this because I only have 3 hours. So I brought it. I have a long list of guests to get to, and I'm starting with one of the best. I am joined by Julia Means, who is Kern County Science Foundation board member. Julia, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Rick.
Julia, let's just talk about what the Kern County Science Foundation is. Get that out of the way.
The Kern County Science Foundation is a board of volunteers that exists solely to promote science, technology, engineering, and math educational opportunities for Kern County children.
And what age groups are we talking about here?
4th grade through 12th grade. So my kids are grown, but maybe what's 4th grade, around 8 or 9
you got
to
me.
17,
my
18.
kid's, he's like 87 years old now or something like that. So I have no idea.
So little, but not kindergarten. We start at 4th grade.
Okay. So basically the foundation is there to sort of put together events or activities or special programs to stimulate kids as far as science, math, and those sort of things, right?
Correct. Yep, absolutely.
Give me a specific.
Well, we fund the Kern County Science Fair.
Okay, which is an annual event.
It's an annual event. It's open to all kinds of kids throughout Kern County. And we also fund several other events, as well as we provide scholarships, we provide mini grants to teachers. There's a lot of competitions that children can become involved in that we fund. And those are 100% of the funds go directly to the students.
And I've been a judge at the science fair, so I've seen some remarkable work. And we've had some really amazing projects come out of this area, haven't we?
Oh, it's incredible. If you ever get a chance, and we always need volunteers for the science fair, please come and help us. You don't have to know a lot about science to be a judge at the science fair. We need more than 200 judges every year. So yes, please come back.
Yeah, I'm not a big science guy, so I admit that up front. So they usually give me the younger grades. So it's like, which crayon melts faster? I can figure that one out. So, but which just shows you what you just need are people to help out.
When you get to the senior competitions, those kids are doing phenomenal work. And we do send a couple of children every year to the International Science Fair as well.
Okay.
So we do a lot of really good things for kids.
Are the members of the foundation board, are they all scientists or involved with the technology industry, or can you just be a layman?
No, I mean, anybody could probably be on the board.
Right.
We do have a predominance of people that are working in science careers, but we have representatives from Bakersfield College. Dr. Stephen Waller is on our board. We have Dr. Andrea Medina from CSUB, as well as several other businesses in the community like PG&E. Matt Beulah from PG&E is on the board. I'm with California Resources Corporation.
Yeah.
So we are from a myriad of backgrounds.
Yeah. I was reading through the material that I got from you about this. You guys support the Kern County Science Fair, STEAM Olympiad, STEM for Girls, coding competitions, and a lot of other contests. This sounds like something that you just can't do for free. I mean, and I know you have some corporate sponsors, but that's kind of changed over the years, hasn't it?
Yes, that's the problem that we have now. So the Science Foundation was started by Shell Oil because they wanted to help Kern County actually have a science fair. Kern didn't have a science fair back then.
We're talking the 80s?
In 1987.
Right. Okay.
So they formed a foundation and got Shell and Chevron and some other of the large oil producers to donate. And it wasn't really hard to keep that going for many years. However, as everyone knows, the energy climate has changed in Kern County, and one or two or three companies aren't funding at the same level that historically all of the majors funded. And so we're really asking the community to come out and support kids so that we can keep providing these opportunities at the same level that Kern has grown accustomed to. I think a lot of people don't realize that the foundation is what funds the science fair. They think the superintendent of schools does, and that is not the case at all. The superintendent of schools provides a match in that they give us staffing, they help with the event management, but the actual funding to rent Dignity Health Arena, for example, for the science fair, or Liberty High School for the STEAM Olympiad, those events cost actually a lot of real dollars.
Yeah.
And we want to keep that coming. So we're seeking other donors.
Yeah. And again, we're in a tough economic time, and I appreciate that you need the money, and I would love people just to open their wallets to you. But if they don't want to do that, they can help another way. You're looking for volunteers. I've always told people, even if you feel like you don't want to hurt your own bank account, you can give your time. It's such a simple thing to do.
Yes, check out our website. It's www.kernscience.org. We have all of the dates for the 26-27 school year are scheduled already. You can sign up to volunteer at any of those events. The science fair is super fun, easy. These are one-day things by and large. We need a lot of volunteers for the science fair. We need a lot of volunteers for the STEAM Olympiad as well. It helps reinvigorate you when you're around children.
Exactly.
And so come and be part of the fun. It's a wonderful time.
You know, I'm a grumpy old man. And every time I judge the competition, it reminds me that there are so many great kids out there who are doing these wonderful projects, very smart kids, very articulate kids, because part of this program is not just, can you make something grow or talk about how a crayon melts or something, but they have to present themselves. And so I think they're learning that social skill that may be just as important as the science part of it.
They're learning life skills. We try to make it such the superintendent of schools does a great job of helping the kids walk away with a lot of experience. We want it to be positive, so we coach the judges on that. We don't want the judges walking up to the kids and humiliating them, right? So so they walk away positive, but they also learn. They learn you don't win everything. They learn how to compete and still have a good time with the competition. It shouldn't be super high pressure. It should be about learning and about learning how to speak for yourself, how to present yourself. Those are life skills that the kids will carry with them, whether they end up in a STEM career or not.
Or whatever they get into.
Exactly.
And now school's getting ready to start again. So are you feel like is that the time when most kids start beginning work on their science project, or is it something that comes a little bit later in the school year?
No, the kids will start right away because the teachers will encourage them to start, those that want to. If we have enough funds, we can really help rural schools participate. Sometimes what happens is some of our outlier schools on the edges of the county, maybe those schools aren't funded at the same level and they have a hard time sending buses, for example.
Right.
So the Science Foundation will also give money to schools that can't otherwise afford to participate, and that's why it's so important.
So somebody could do something as simple as if we know one of the rural schools needs a bus, they could step up to the school and say, look, I'll pay for that bus for the day or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's a lot but all they need to do is sort of just reach out to you guys, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I want to make it clear. I mentioned STEM earlier, and I want to make sure people understand exactly what STEM is.
It's an acronym for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Okay.
And sometimes you'll hear it presented as STEAM. That's when we throw an arts in there as well. So the STEAM Olympiad has an art component, and the science fair is the traditional STEM. We also do a one-day conference called STEM for Girls, Ignite Her, and that is it's a children's conference, but it's all around science and careers that you can have in STEM fields as a woman. And it's designed to ignite that fire in young ladies to realize their potential and the difference that a STEM career can make in their own lives.
Yeah, I should have started with this. What's your background? Are you a teacher?
No,
what do you do?
I'm a health, safety, and environmental manager for California Resources Corporation. And my degree was in biology and chemistry. I went to Cal State Bakersfield after I came from Bakersfield High School. So I grew up here. I had a really good life because I decided to major in science. I've earned a good living my whole life and been able to provide for my family really well.
And this is a great community to be involved with the science and technology, isn't it? There's so many opportunities.
It's the fourth environment in the country for STEM jobs.
Amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And I'm old enough to remember back when it seemed like when STEM started, there was an emphasis on trying to lure more young women into the science fields. Has that changed? Do we see more of a sort of more of a broader range of young people who are getting into the science and technologies?
Yeah, I think it's kids that find a fire in them for it. So if they get excited about it and we catch them young and then they realize that's an opportunity for them, it's not as biased as it was. There is still a slant to boys because boys are still encouraged that they can do math, and somehow girls don't necessarily know that they can do math as well. It's the old stereotypes.
Yeah, because I would say most of the smartest people I know are women. So I would go, that's a stereotype that's thrown away. So, hey, we got to wrap up here really quick. Any last thoughts about the foundation, what you guys are doing, or
no,
last little plea to,
you could just really use your money. If you're a business owner, we would love to work with you. You can go to our website. It's got all of our information. All your donation is tax deductible. We'll take small donations, large donations, and we love volunteers.
Yeah, I think the bottom line comes down to is that the education is so important for people. And
absolutely.
So we got to make sure we can do everything to make sure that it's at its best here in the county.
That's right. That's what we're doing.
Julia, thank you so much for being here today. You guys are doing amazing work. I hope that this helps you guys keep doing the work that you're doing.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you.
All right. Hey, guys, that's it for the first segment. I survived. Don't go away. There'll be more to come.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. For the Central Valley, that means local service including burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and custom security designed to work with business operations. Bay Alarm has real people, rooted in your community, looking out for your business. After 8 decades and 3 generations of family ownership, our promise is still the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
You like playing around in the kitchen? Well, you've got to check out on Instagram Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen vignettes. Tiny little vignettes, many of them with Gino showing you how to cook different dishes with some of the elements that are in the delicatessen. Now he's got some of the other personnel doing it as well. They're incredibly well done, and they can break down some of the great stuff that they do right at Luigi's. And again, if you're a foodie, the delicatessen's got to be your first stop. I mean, they've got everything. I've got some of the Luigi stuff in my kitchen. I use it when I cook as well. And again, I've told you about the deli, the merchandise, the merch for kids coming up for birthdays or anniversaries or whatever. And then check out the patio. The misters are out there. It's a wonderful afternoon. Where would you rather be? But again, stop in the deli, say hello to Lynette, try one of her Italian wines. Where would you rather be than at Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partner.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code BUDGET to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code BUDGET to borrow up to $10,000. Use code BUDGET to borrow up to $10,000.
Maxwell in the morning. Good till the last mic drop.
Federal appeals court ruled the New Jersey's assault weapon law barring possession of a semi-automatic rifle is unconstitutional. The first time a federal appeals court has ruled that a state's assault weapons ban violated the U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment, so this could be a huge one.
Clint's here. He's in the green room.
Weekdays 9 to noon, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Every time I hear that, I believe a man can fly. That's one of the great movie theme songs of all time. Hey, you are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show. Obviously, I'm not Ralph Bailey. I am Rick Bentley. Normally, I'm here on a Friday for just about 30 minutes, but Ralph is taking a much-deserved vacation, so he was kind enough to let me fill in for this day, and I'm going to do my best to fill it with segments that you will enjoy, entertain you, or educate you, or both. I don't know, but you are listening to us on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN, and also watch us on YouTube at Kern Radio. Please feel free to text me at 661-842-5376. All right. One of the great things about my job is I get to talk to a lot of local people, but I also get to do a lot of celebrity interviews. And one of the more interesting interviews I just had recently was with Bear Grylls. Now, you guys got to know Bear Grylls from Man vs. Wild, but he has a new series of shows on Prime Video that's called The Chosen in the Wild with Bear Grylls. It's a new 6-part series that's hosted by Grylls, and it follows the cast of the drama The Chosen as they take on challenges across forests, deserts, and canyons. This is a series that Grylls had wanted to do for a long time because he is a man of deep faith, And so he was a big admirer of The Chosen, so he thought he could bring those two together. Let's hear what Bear has to say. Hey, Bear, how are you today, sir?
Thank you for asking. I'm surviving. I'm doing okay. Nice to be with you.
I think you're doing better than okay, but we can argue about that later. Hey, I had read that The Chosen in the Wild for you was a dream for you. Could you just expand on that?
Well, I think first of all, like I love my day job of running Wild, the series we do on Fox. It's a great privilege. But Chosen in the Wild was really unique for me in the sense that, like, first of all, I've been a fan of The Chosen for many years, and I think people don't realize quite how many people around the world devour this TV show, The Chosen. Yeah. You know, sometimes, like, I still sometimes meet people and go, "Oh, I've never heard of that." And it's like, and then you kind of tell the viewing figure, like 300 million viewers or something from every culture and country on earth, and it's actually pretty mind blowing. But what's interesting is, like, people aren't watching it just for entertainment. You know, they really invested in it. It touches their hearts. It inspires their life, their families, their faith. But so few of these viewers really know the actors behind the characters. And I think the magic of Chosen in the Wild is that we get to really show how playing these characters has changed these actors' lives. And I think I just wasn't ready for how much and how deeply it affected all of these actors. You know, even, I mean, you kind of might expect it with Jesus, with Jonathan Rumi, that's going to be a bit of a mind mess. That's gonna be a challenging one. And he was incredibly honest and vulnerable about the struggles and the journey that's been. But also all the other characters of how, you know, they weren't necessarily people of faith before they started playing the characters on the show. But how it's changed their life has been a really surprising, beautiful part of the journey. And, you know, if you just sit on a chat show, you don't get to hear that. You know, you go out into the wild for 24 hours with someone and you journey with them, you get to hear this stuff. And that is the beating heart of Chosen in the Wild.
Yeah, I always like the adventure part of the show, but I really do enjoy when you get the moments to sit and talk with your traveling companion. Do you feel like just being out in nature, sort of stripped away of all the glitz and glamour of Hollywood and everything, that people are more come across as more real and more open?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's like it's no longer a performance. You know, it's like not like that chat show. Like I said, it's different. You're cold and you're tired and you're scared and you're hungry and you're a little bit beaten up and you sit around a campfire and you're munching on a snake or whatever and you talk about the real stuff of life. And that's the magic. It's the outdoors is a real star in so many ways. It opens people up. But I think what's special about Chosen in the Wild is that it's what these actors revealed when the wild did open them up. And I think that faith element of how all of these actors kind of came at it and weren't ready for how it was going to turn their life upside down. And that was, like I said, the surprising but the beautiful part of the show for me, of hearing their journeys. And then you're straight back into it. You're kind of like, okay, we've got to get across the river.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, if my calculation's correct, Bear, this is about the 20th anniversary of Man vs. Wild. Am I correct with that, or in the ballpark?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I actually don't know. I don't know. It's like it feels like yesterday. It's been that's been a journey.
Yeah. Well, let's assume it's 20 years. Is it surprising that this has kept going this long? Did you feel like at the beginning, like, hey, if I get a couple of months out of this, I'm going to be a happy man? Does it surprise you that we're still intrigued by each one of these episodes?
I think so. No one's more surprised than me. Like, I've always tried just to, in life, play what's in front of me.
Yeah.
Play what's in front of me. Not look too far ahead. Not look too far behind. Just like play the ball in front. Like this is what I'm dealing with today. Try and give my all to that. And like, you know, if it's going to last a week or a month or a season or a year or 20 years, like just play what's in front of you and be grateful every day and give your all to that day. And that's how I try to live. But yeah, like I'm super grateful for that. You know, so many people have believed in the power of the outdoors and you know, in me over the years, and it means so much. And you know, Man vs. Wild was a privilege, and Running Wild continues to, you know, air around the world, and I like pushing the boundaries though as well. And I think Chosen in the Wild does that. It's a spin-off that we've never done before, but it's something that's really in my heart because faith is in my heart, and I think if I was ever going to do a version like this, it would be for The Chosen, and I just feel really proud of it.
Yeah. I've got to wrap up here. One last question. You are such a man of faith, but has there ever been a moment when you've been out in the wild where you questioned your faith, where you thought, where have you gone, God? I'm hanging off this cliff and I need you.
Yeah, all the time. I mean, I would characterize most of my life as a struggle of doubts and, disbelief as much as belief. It's luckily our faith doesn't say it's not a fuel tank of like at the end, have you believed more than you've not believed? It's not like that. We can't earn our way to heaven. It's like I spend a lot of my time on my knees going, wow, like, is this crazy? But then also there's a power to I think when you believe despite the doubts, there's power to that in life. And for me, it's a choice. It's like I know it in my heart. I can try and rationalize it, but I just know it in my heart, and I kind of feel it, and I'm going to bet my life on it and bank my future on it. So for me, it's a choice as well.
Yeah, well, it's a choice that we've enjoyed watching and want to keep enjoy watching. So, hey, thank you and congratulations on this one. It is a special version of the great work you've done in the past. So thanks for this and thanks for the time today.
I appreciate it, Rick. Thanks so much. Take care, buddy.
Bye-bye. All right, that series is available right now on Prime Video. It's going to get a B from me. I know actors have to pay the bills. They've got to take jobs sometimes just to make sure the money's coming in. But I think this The Chosen in the Wild show, Bear actually got the actors who to show how a show like this could really affect them. So it is an amazing show. I recommend it highly. I would say, if nothing else, get Prime Video just for that. Anyway, we got to take a break right now. There's plenty more to come, so please don't go away.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy said Friday he'll back Todd Blanche's nomination as Attorney General, likely paving the way for Blanche to be confirmed to lead President Trump's Justice Department. Blanche's prospective confirmation appeared threatened earlier Friday when Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski announced her opposition. The Senate has approved a punishing Russian sanctions bill that was a top priority for the late Senator Lindsey Graham. Passage of the package Friday signals renewed bipartisan support for Ukraine as the war drags on. The legislation would penalize countries that continue to buy Russian oil, gas, and other exports. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 151 points. The Nasdaq rose 342. The S&P advanced 47. More details at srnnews.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Rob Archer. Kern County's wine grape industry is shrinking. County crop reports show wine grape acreage fell from more than 25,000 acres in 2020 to fewer than 19,000 in 2024. Growers say there's too much supply, demand is down, and costs for labor, water, fertilizer, and insurance keep climbing. Some are tearing out healthy vineyards because they can't find buyers or because selling prices no longer cover their costs. A 64-year-old Taft man has been arrested after deputies say they found 111 pounds of processed marijuana at his home. The sheriff's office's Mario Campos was contacted during a search last week, and Bakersfield's new street safety policy gives more priority to bike lanes and lower target speeds when streets are built or redesigned. I'm Rob Archer in the Kern Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study.
Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Monday edition of the First Look program, it's going to be packed up. We're going to introduce you to one of three Ward 3 City Council people. We're going to do that. We got the hot list. We're going to talk jobs with America's Job Center at Kern. We got news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Yes, it's the Ralph Bailey Show, but I am Rick Bentley filling in for Ralph Bailey. You know, one of the things I love about living in this community is all the great people who do so much work to help everybody who lives here. And my next guest is a sterling example of that. I'm joined by Captain Clinton Trimmer of the Salvation Army. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me. Love talking to you, Rick.
Yeah, I as people know, I do volunteer work. So I do have a connection to it. And I got to see, not a political statement, but we're in a tough economic decision between buying food for the house or paying for the electric, make sure they don't die in the heat. Where you guys stand with this right now? Are you struggling right now, or do you still need more help? What's going on?
Yeah, we're seeing about a 30% increase over this time last year of people coming in. Again, I want to stress it's the working poor. It's people who have jobs, but they're having to choose between, like you said, paying that electric bill to keep the air conditioner on, or buying food for their family, or buying prescriptions, and especially as kids get ready to go back to school.
Yeah. And you and I have often talked about, we love money. We love the donations that people give with that. And you guys couldn't survive without that. But we also want to make sure people know that there's other ways to help out. You guys are always looking for volunteers, right, for your pantry and for all sorts of other, because you guys are busy. I mean, we only think of you at Christmas because of the bell ringing, and I do want to get to that. But you guys are busy around 365 days a year.
Yeah, that's right. We have a saying in the Army: need knows no season.
Right.
We see people in need all the time, but we also like to say that it takes an army, and it's not just the people who work for us. It's not just the people who wear the Salvation Army uniform, but really it's the community that makes our work possible.
Yeah, yeah. Captain, is it really though hard? I mean, if people are struggling financially, are they really afraid to give up even their spare time? Are you having trouble getting volunteers?
We have a hard time getting volunteers, especially when the temperature rises. Some of our food distributions, for instance, on the second Friday of the month, that tends to be outside, and it is hard. The last couple months, especially this last month, trying to get folks to come out. But God always seems to make a way, and we're able to help. So this last month, for instance, we were able to hand out 185 food boxes. So that's 185 families that were receiving food, because people, out of the generosity of their heart, just kind of show up. But that being said, the more people who show up, the easier it is.
Exactly. And I often say it's 185 boxes of food, and I appreciate that. But it makes what I always think of it as is if there's one child out there who's going to bed tonight not hungry, then it's all been worth it. I mean, that's why we've got to help each other, especially in these when the times get tough. When times are great, okay, but when they're tough, we all need to just sort of step up for each other.
Yeah, for sure. And just to put kind of a more personal spin on it, each food box is roughly about 4 people. So I'm not great at math. I went to school for history and theology, but if we do some rounding, right?
It's
That-
1,700.
That's
it's
somewhere
720
around,
people.
Yeah. Okay. See, you're far better at math than I am.
Okay.
But that's 720 people being helped with food just in that one day.
In that one day. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of this goes back to raising money, and we know it wasn't that long ago we had National Donut Day, and that was a great success. But you're also beginning to start thinking about the bell ringing, and you start. It's time right now. I know it seems hot, but it's time to start thinking about that, getting your groups together, and being ready for that. And you do have a big kickoff thing coming for that too, don't you?
Yeah, we are going to have our kettle kickoff on November 10th out at Legends Event Center, and we're gearing up for that. And then, of course, the buckets will actually be out in stores starting on Friday, November 20th. So that's the Friday before Thanksgiving. And a great tradition, actually a tradition you help us with all the time, is celebrity bell ringing.
Yeah. Well, I plan on it. I have not reached out to celebrities yet. It's still a little early on that, but yeah, I really feel like when we started doing that, it really does sort of bring a focus on what you're trying to do. And but again, as much as that is great, and there's a big day, and we get a lot of attention on that. It all comes down to people who live here helping each other, just signing up. I sign up. I enjoy doing it. I'm the kind of person who just like to meet people. And so even if you just don't, sign up for 2 hour slot, you've done something.
Yeah, that 2 hour slot can help feed,
Right.
3 to 4 families.
Yeah.
And so if we say 4 people per family, right?
Yeah.
And so even if people only have a little bit of time to give,
Right.
that's still impacting the community.
Yeah.
In meaningful ways. And I will also say that celebrity bell ringing is a great day. It's a fun event.
Yep.
But the truth is, what allows us to help 365 days a year,
right,
is people signing up for the rest of those shifts,
right,
in November and on through December. Because that's really where we're able to raise the funds we need to help our neighbors in need.
And we need to remind people, it's just not, you don't have to do it as an individual. In fact, you can come out with your whole family, you can get your book club, you can have your choir, you can do it as a group and make it a fun event. Do the bell ringing for 2 hours, then go have lunch or go have dinner.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people who make it a tradition. They come out and they spend a couple hours. You're right, it's with their family, maybe it's with their their card club, maybe it's with their neighbors. They do it for a few hours,
Yep.
they say Merry Christmas, and then they go have, some dessert, some coffee, and they just kind of make an event of it.
Yeah, yeah. I sign up each year for a lot of the slots. I'd like to challenge some people out there to try to beat me this year, to see if they can do more than me. I think it would be fun.
I would love that. It's quite a challenge though. Because
I've set the bar high, yeah.
You enjoy it and you are out there. But yeah, it's such a great way to celebrate the Christmas season.
Exactly.
And honestly, I've never been out there ringing the bell where I don't end up having a conversation with someone that I know, or sometimes I meet a stranger, I find we have a connection, and so the time just flies by.
Yeah, it does.
And yet you're still doing something to help your neighbor in need.
Yeah. What I love is the stories. I've had people come up to me and say, I'm giving this much money because 10 years ago, I needed money to pay my electricity or I needed food and the Salvation Army was there. Now I'm in a place where I can do something and they make a donation. Those kind of stories really reflect how important the Salvation Army has been for so many years and the work you're doing now and the work you'll continue to do. It's I think one of the finest organizations in town or in the country.
Yeah, we have quite the legacy to build upon. For instance, we've been in Bakersfield since 1890.
Wow.
And so all that time, we've been reaching out, helping our neighbors in need, helping send kids to camp, helping feed people, helping people, in time of disasters.
Right.
Because sometimes truth is, the best thing you can do for someone is offer them a donut and a hot cup of coffee.
Yep.
And we've been doing that for so long, so we build on that legacy.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's just good to know you're not alone.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we get to that point where we feel like, or it's just us. We're the only ones. It's like, no, we're a community, and you guys sort of bring that all together. Hey, before we have to wrap up here, is there any other things going on that you certainly want to press?
Yeah. So one of the things we're looking at, speaking of volunteering
Right.
and all of that, we are going to be challenging folks in the community. We're calling it Daily Bread, taken from the Lord's Prayer,
Okay.
and asking people to either donate, again, some time, a few hours here, a few hours
Yeah.
there, to help raise money to feed people or to help fill the food boxes, that kind of stuff, or to give money to help us do those things. And for all of that, you can go to bakersfield.salvationarmy.org.
Okay. And the thing we do, I do want to stress, and I always stress this when I'm doing the bell ringing, is every dime, every penny stays right here. We are not just sending this off to some national group. It is staying right here to help our neighbors.
That's true. Every dollar, every donation, it stays in the community it's given. And so for Bakersfield and specifically for Kern County, we are helping people who we live right next door to.
Yeah. Well, Captain Trimmer, you and your group do an amazing job, and I'm just honored to be a little part of it each year. But I am looking forward to this year's bell ringing, and I'm hoping somebody comes up to me and says, "We're going to try to beat your record." So we'll just see if that happens. If not, just do it one 2-hour slot. It's not that hard. I'm telling you, if you feel like you get grumpy and don't have the Christmas spirit, you'll have it after you do this.
Guaranteed. And if you don't want to do it alone, bring some friends.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this segment. Captain Trimmer, thanks again for being here. I appreciate it. Again, your group is an amazing group to be part of, and anything I can do to support it, I'm going to be there for you. So, all right, we're going to have to take another break right now. So thank you for listening so far to the Ralph Bailey Show. Even though Ralph isn't here, we will be back in just a moment after these commercial messages. If Chris is listening to me, but he's on the phone. So I'm just going to keep rambling here like I know what I'm doing. This is what happens when you have a novice doing it. It's like you're cueing it. I'm taking it to commercial break, and he's just ignoring me. So, oh, there he is. So, all right.
Sorry, your next guest was calling me on the phone. So
Okay. Well, listen. We'll be right back.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Monday edition of the First Look program, it's going to be packed up. We're going to introduce you to one of three Ward 3 City Council people. We're going to do that. We got the hot list. We're going to talk jobs with America's Job Center of Kern. We got news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Pet stains on your carpet? Carpet Outlet Plus has everything you need to make your floors pet-proof. With over 100 in-stock waterproof floors, Carpet Outlet Plus can solve your pet problems for good. We also stock over 50 colors of pet-perfect carpet. Call, click, or come by today for your free in-home estimate. Don't forget, for the do-it-yourselfer, we also offer free next-day delivery on all qualifying stock floors. And as a bonus, go to carpetoutletplus.com and apply for 12 months no-interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Look, folks, you already know that your garage door is a very important part of your home, from the overall look of the place to the safety and security it provides. So obviously, you should only trust the service, repair, and maintenance of your garage door to the pros at King Door Company. Their skill and product knowledge are unmatched in the industry, and that's no accident. The techs at King Door are rigorously trained at the King Door Academy. That's right, King Door has an in-house training facility to make sure your job is done right on the first try. They're trained in all the latest equipment, tools, and techniques. They even learn how to listen to customer concerns through role-playing exercises. And you'll see how well all this training works when they show up right on time in fully stocked service trucks with all the parts and equipment to service or repair any garage door. Like I said, your garage door is a very important part of your home, so leave it to the pros at King Door Company. Schedule your appointment today at kingdoor.com. King Door Company, the company with the pride of a lion.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Dr. Roland Rodriguez.
Hello, this is Bakersfield General Surgeon Dr. Roland Rodriguez, client and friend of Mr. Paul Sheldon. It is my great pleasure and privilege to relate to all of you my absolute exemplary experience with Team Paul Sheldon. I have also referred a number of my colleagues to Paul Sheldon's office, only to receive the most stellar feedback from my doctor friends regarding the office's expert navigation through the complex maze that is Medicare. And even though Paul Sheldon himself is now facing some temporary health challenges, his longstanding and most experienced and expertly trained team of ladies, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn, continue to masterfully guide the clients through the complicated world of Medicare. You most definitely could not possibly do any better than to reach out to Paul Sheldon several months before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to The Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERS.
And just a reminder, Ralph is on vacation. I'm Rick Bentley filling in. I'm taking the opportunity to spotlight some of what I think are some of the great organizations here in this community. And my next up is one that I am just in love with. I have never been around a group of more talented, creative, interesting, energetic people in my entire life than the Kern Dance Alliance. And then joining me is Andrea Hansen, who is the executive director of Kern Dance Alliance. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Rick. Thank you for having me.
Oh, listen, I cannot go on enough about this. And what I want to make clear to people out there is when they hear Kern Dance Alliance, I think they may automatically think, oh, they just teach people how to dance. But you guys do so much more that goes beyond that. And you've just wrapped up what I consider one of the major events of the community with your Books in Motion. Could you just fill people in about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I think you're right. When people hear Kern Dance Alliance, they think we're a dance studio or a dance company. But really, we refer to ourselves as KDA today because while we still serve dance and movement, the organization has really branched out into other creative disciplines where we are also working in music and theater and poetry and graphic design and filmmaking, anything under the creative lens. We are actively working to uplift those artists in those areas as well. But yeah, Books in Motion, one of our centerpiece programs, just celebrating 10 years of Books in Motion.
That is amazing. And how many books have you given out in those 10 years?
Yeah, we've given away over 22,000 free books the last 10 years.
That's just stunning. That is amazing. And I know from having done a lot of work with not only KDA, but also with SPCA and everything, sometimes these books that we give to these kids are the only books that are in the house.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. In fact, I met a woman the other day who has a 4-year-old, and she mentioned she only had one book in her home. Wow. And I looked at her and I said, well, now you've got 12 more, because this summer we had 12 books on tour. And when you hear somebody has a lack of reading materials, especially for a 4-year-old in their home, and we know the research behind that if a child isn't reading at a certain level by the time they're 4, they're not hearing enough spoken words in their home, they're likely going to have a reading comprehension voids in their life, obviously having more of a struggle going down the road.
Yeah, and if you can't read, you can't do geography, you can't do math, you can't do anything. So that reading is so fundamental. But I also am just amazed by some of the other programs you do. You work with children with handicaps. And if you ever want to have a moment in your life when your heart just swells 10 times too big. You should see one of these performances.
Adapt to Dance.
Adapt to Dance is just amazing.
Yeah, that is our program for people with mental, intellectual, physical disabilities. That will be going on 10 years next year as well. People always ask, well, what's your favorite KDA program? And it's like asking which one is my favorite child.
Exactly.
I can't, I'm a mother. I can't choose my favorite. But
I bet you have a favorite child.
No, they're listening too. I would never say so. But I know that Adapt to Dance is one of those programs, especially not even so much for the participants, but their families as well, because we are just wrapping our arms around all of them and showing them that, these creative outlets are just as necessary as all the other services that they have in their lives. And being able to provide that 1 hour, where we bring their children into the room, there's 15 to 20 interns in the room, plus our director, Micah Steele, operating the program for us. They trust us, and they are okay with us bringing their child in for an hour, and they get an hour of respite. And sometimes they just want to sit and watch because it brings them so much joy.
Sure.
But Adapt to Dance is a beautiful program, and it always ends with a final performance at the historic Bakersfield Fox Theater. So we're getting ready to announce that program very soon, and we just love it so much.
That is so amazing. And then you work with Alzheimer's patients.
Yeah, Memory Moves.
Yeah, which is another amazing program.
Thank you. Well, KDA is really all about using the arts sort of beyond the stage, beyond the performative status, and really putting the arts in the lives of everyday people, and knowing that the arts can make, transformative effects in their lives. And Memory Moves is one of those examples for people with Alzheimer's, dementia, experiencing memory loss. Memory Moves started as a collaboration with ADAKC, the Alzheimer's Disease Association, almost 10 years ago too. And that program has seen people from the most low functioning individuals to highly functioning individuals. And what we're doing is we're using movement as a form of therapy to assist with cognitive recall and physical rehabilitation.
Andrew, I could use the rest of this entire package I have today with Ralph's show, but I'm going to have to move on a little bit. Just all this it's great. It's amazing, but it's something you just can't do without support. And some of that's financial. You guys really need some help as far as financial aid in making sure these programs do not go away, because I don't know if it's just nice. They're just vital.
They're vital.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. And we believe that. We believe that arts are just as intrinsic to our community as education and healthcare and, all the different sectors that really make our community churn. And the arts are just as important and as prevalent, but we can't do it alone. You're absolutely right. KDA is an all-volunteer organization. Every dollar that comes in goes right back into our programs, right back into the community. We're so grateful to have raised $6 million over the last 11 years, and that money has been spent right here in the Central Valley. But to your point, as the programs continue to grow, for example, Books in Motion this summer had over 7,000 people come through the program. In the early days, we maybe saw 500, so just that uptick in the number of people coming through the programs, of course, requires not just more time and efforts and worker bees, but also resources to make sure that those books remain free and that the artists are being paid for their work. And there's lots of different ways to get involved with KDA. You can become a volunteer. You can also donate. You can there's corporate sponsorship opportunities. You can come and become a member, knowing that your membership dues are helping to pave the way for more creative activities in our community.
Yeah, and people also ought to know that you don't have to be a dancer to be a part of it. I mean, I have 6 left feet. By state and federal law, I'm not allowed to dance. That's how bad and ugly it is. But I do volunteer, and I have to admit to you right here on the air, I feel like I'm getting more out of it than the people were helping.
I love that, Rick.
Well,
at KDA, it's all about serving different buckets. We have the literacy piece. We have our STEAM programs. We have our education programs. We have our healthcare programs. So yes, it's supporting the arts, but it's uplifting the arts in ways, again, like I said, that's serving everyday people in our community that may not see themselves in a dance studio or in a museum or making music in a music studio. This is about everyday people saying, "Oh, I see how Memory Moves can serve my mother with Alzheimer's," or "I see how KDA can serve my sister who has a child with special needs," or "I can see how KDA is helping my kid to read," or "how my daughter's learning math." So yeah, KDA is an arts agency, but I see us in so many other sectors really doing important work.
Yeah, and mainly because of a lot of work you're doing, we have really become this massive hub for dance in this community.
Well, you think about it, we have Tyler Peck, the world's greatest ballerina is right here from Bakersfield. And every time we ask her to do something, it's an immediate yes from her. And we've been so grateful to be in such good graces with the Peck family. And, Tyler continues to put Bakersfield on the map everywhere she goes all across the world.
Yeah. And then for people who are not familiar with her, because not everybody's into dance, Tyler is basically the Michael Jordan of ballet.
She is.
I mean, she is to that level. She goes beyond magical to watch her. And again, I had the great opportunity to meet her, and she's just
And did you see she won the Emmy for the documentary she made?
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, so it really does reflect this area. I love what your group does is because it's also I get it. This area is known for country music, and we will always be, and that's great. That's wonderful. I appreciate that. But there's so much diversity here that people just don't, I think sometimes don't recognize.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this the other day, especially as KDA continues to diversify into the other art forms. There's so much more going on here than there was when I was a kid. And that's part of the reason why we started KDA was because we wanted more opportunities for our children. And, I'll scroll Instagram or Facebook and I get so proud when I see so many people doing such great work. There's so many opportunities, whereas when I was a kid, there wasn't. That's why everybody left, right? We left because there was nothing for us to do here. And that is changing. And my husband and I are the first to say, we love Bakersfield.
Yeah.
We love our hometown.
Yeah.
We're going to do everything we can to make sure our hometown thrives. And I believe that Bakersfield and Kern County is the jewel of California. And so
Right.
I'm going to do everything I possibly can do to ensure that is the reputation that we create in our community, and especially as people move here. And, unfortunately there is, some negative connotations about our home, but what we're doing is changing that. We're changing that perception of what people think about Bakersfield and Kern County. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's a perception that I think is tired. It's tired and old, because you just have to look past the end of your nose to realize there's programs like this one. And again, not only is it amazing what they're doing with books and with all that, but it's just that emphasis on dance, the diversity of dance. And I have told you this, and I will say this 1,000 times. I think dancers are the greatest athletes on the planet.
Well, thank you. I believe they are too. But I also think that artists in general are just superheroes. The things that they're able to do with their creative outlets is remarkable. And I just love watching the work happening in our community.
Before we wrap up, how can people help?
Yes, kerndance.org. From there, you can go to get involved. You become a member. You can donate. You can just volunteer. Also, kda-ca.org. You can apply for grants and scholarships and other funding opportunities.
Hey, thanks, Andrea, for being here.
Thank you, Rick.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN. 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Senate has passed a new Russian sanctions bill.
Minority Leader Chuck Schumer pointed out this is the work of the late Senator Lindsey Graham.
The Russian sanction bill will make it clear to Moscow that America will back Ukraine to the hilt.
Graham's sister, Darlene, now holds his seat in the Senate.
This legislation hits Putin where it hurts.
The bipartisan bill would penalize countries that continue to buy Russian oil, gas, and other exports to deprive President Vladimir Putin of revenues fueling the war. It comes after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visited the Capitol hours after Lindsey Graham's funeral. Ed Donahue, Washington.
The clock is ticking this Friday on Capitol Hill as senators look to wrap up a list of line items.
Before senators head home for the next 5 weeks, they're trying to get things done on Capitol Hill. One of the top priorities of the president, getting the Save America Act across the finish line. Also a top priority, getting Todd Blanche approved as Attorney General. Alaska's Lisa Murkowski saying she will not be voting for him, but Louisiana's Bill Cassidy says he is a yes. If confirmed, one of Blanche's first decisions will be whether to prosecute former NIH director Anthony Fauci.
That's correspondent Laura Winters reporting. Pakistan, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia have signed a mutual defense agreement. The deal means an armed attack on one is considered an attack on all. It was signed Friday during a meeting in Saudi Arabia. The agreement aims to strengthen collective deterrence against aggression. Meanwhile, Iran-backed Houthi rebels have increased attacks on Saudi-linked targets. On Wall Street, a good day as the Dow was up by 151 points. The Nasdaq rose 342. The S&P 500 advanced 47. More at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
Families across Kern County are getting ready for the new school year, and thousands got some help this week at Kern County Museum. I'm Rob Archer. The annual Ready, Set, Back to School Health and Wellness Fair handed out free backpacks and school supplies to kids from kindergarten through 12th grade. The event also connected families with health services and other community resources. Kern County Child Support Services says the program has helped more than 40,000 families since it began in 2009. Kern County has confirmed its first human case of West Nile virus this year. The virus is spread by mosquitoes and is most common during the summer and early fall. Most people who are infected have no symptoms or only mild illness. Public Health says people should dump standing water around their homes, use insect repellent, and avoid mosquito bites, especially around dawn and dusk. A 64-year-old Taft man is facing an investigation after deputies say they seized 111 pounds of processed marijuana from his home. The sheriff's office says deputies served a search warrant on Eastern Avenue last week after getting a report of an indoor marijuana grow. Mario Campos was cited and released. The home was tagged as unsafe, and PG&E shut off electricity. Investigators say the case could lead to more charges. Bakersfield new street safety policy is now in place. The city council approved a resolution this week that gives more priority to buffered bike lanes, narrower traffic lanes, and lower target speeds when streets are built or redesigned. Supporters say the changes should reduce serious crashes, but opponents raise concerns about traffic flow and losing vehicle lanes. And the dangerous heat continues. Bakersfield could reach 108 tomorrow and around 110 Sunday, with heat alerts remaining in place through the weekend. I'm Rob Archer in the Kern Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
To rest well in a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
Too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Well, it's not Ralph Bailey. It's Rick Bentley filling in for Ralph Bailey because Ralph's on a well-deserved vacation. Well, how hard does he really work? But he's off for this week, and I got to fill in for these 3 hours. So I'm taking advantage of trying to shine a spotlight on local people. And my next guest is very important to me for two reasons. One, I like having Derek Jeffrey, who's the Vice President and General Manager for KGT, Telemundo, and CW Bakersfield stations here, because you have a lot to talk about as far as TV is concerned, and also it's going to make Ralph mad.
Yeah, sorry about that, Ralph. My calendar is always full when Ralph calls, but Rick called and I said, I got you.
Yeah, isn't that ironic? That it's just that one little sliver of data that you had open.
You got it.
Derek, I want to, and I want to go be very transparent about this and tell people right up front. When we talked about you coming on the air, what you told me was that no topic was off the table, except for personnel issues. And I get that.
Of course.
No manager worth his salt is going to talk personnel. And I had covered TV and radio enough over the years. I've had station managers. I know the guy had been fired. He'd call me to tell me he'd been fired, and the manager would still not confirm that he wasn't at the station anymore. So we're not going to get anywhere near that. But I do want to. But everything is on the table, and what I want to start with is this sort of situation you're in right now with a local TV station. There was a time when you guys just competed with the other TV stations in the market, the newspaper, and some radio.
Right.
That was it. But now you're under this sort of it's almost this war that's going on between you guys trying to get the attention of the public while you're also dealing with the other TV stations, radio and newspaper, that kind of thing, but the internet and the people's cell phones. And so how do you combat that? How do you draw eyes in and ears in a world that's so much out there and there's so much chaos out there?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think the simple component or the simple answer to that is the supply and demand issue, right? So you look wherever the consumers are wanting to consume, that's where we need to be. That's where we should be. I was just telling JR down the hall that, let's talk about a number of 1 to 10. 2.5 of those people are consuming us just only through our television news broadcast station.
Okay.
You got the other 7.5 that are finding us through our social media platforms, through our KGT.com, through our KGT Plus streaming apps. So we have seen that shift in just the past 10 years go from 75 to 85% of consumption just on our broadcast TV station to what I just said a minute ago that flipped backwards. So we obviously have shifted our resources. There used to be 50 people in the newsroom that only worked on the 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. news.
Right.
Now there's 50 people in the newsroom, but 25 of them are working on resources for digital and working towards KGT Plus and working towards very similar to what you do at the station, working for a lifestyle alternative show than our hardcore news product. So you just see that the resources are going to where the consumption's happening.
Yeah. So instead of fighting it, you basically embraced it.
Very much so.
And I don't want to gloss over because you and I both know what you're talking about, but I want to make sure that if the people out there, the KGD Plus is really I think one of the great examples of how you're embracing this brave new world out there. Talk a little bit more about that. Explain that a little bit deeper.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun for me. For someone that's been at the station for 22 years running just a broadcast station, this now gives me another station, another channel that I can look at. So this 24 hours of stream, 7 days a week, is just what we put on it. Any show that I want to create. It's not bound by a format of television to where you have 3 minutes and a commercial break. The commercial break has to be a minute long, or you have 26 minutes with 4 minutes of commercial. We can do whatever we want with the amount of time on that KGT Plus. And for me is fun. So that's where the consumption's going. If you watch it, it looks like what they're watching right here, right now.
Right.
That's our KGT Plus. People are used to this versus just sitting at a big desk with big pictures behind them and reading a prompter.
Right.
It's just individuals having a much more genuine, authentic, and real conversation about topics of the day. Or we get up there and we talk about high school football. And so for me, it's just a lot of fun that we can put whatever product, however long the programming, and not be bound by the traditional restrictions of broadcast television on that KGT Plus.
Well, take that a step further. Derek, if you had to change your thinking as far as there was a time when you saved your stories for the 5 o'clock, the 6 o'clock, the 11 o'clock, that type thing. But in this brave new world where people get their news immediately, have you had to change your thinking about how quickly do we put something up?
Oh, goodness, yes. So it's news now. That's what we say. It's news now. It's not news for later. There are way more people consuming our news immediately now if we put it to your phones and put it to your social media platforms than if we hold it for 5. So there's absolutely no more holding for 5. That is a very much legacy, antiquated, archaic way of doing news. And so we say news now all the time. If it happens now, we've got to put it out to the people. That's the way they'll consume it.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a hierarchy to get it out now? Where does it go first?
Great question. So if we can, we want to go to that KGT Plus first, depending on how it is. So if we look at let's take that hostage situation that happened just recently.
Right.
That might be the biggest story to come out of Kern County in years, if not ever.
Yeah.
And so immediately we said, well, do we break into, let's look at the traditional television format.
Exactly.
You break into Judge Judy, you break into Dr. Phil. We break into that and we do that was the old way of looking at it. Now we go, hey, we go to the Plus and we're going to reach people there in the streaming app. We're going to go to Facebook Live right away and we're going to reach 100,000 people on that. we're going to go live on kgt.com. There are just so many more platforms. And so we just look digital first, where it used to be that probably couldn't happen. And you learn about it at 5,
Yeah.
which is insane. So we years ago adopted, if it's happening, it's local, and it's important, we break into whatever is happening. So that's what we would do. We would look, okay, we're going to go digital first, social first, and then let's take a look at broadcast if we need to break in there.
Yeah. Derek, it all sounds great, and I appreciate what you're doing, but it also seems like a lot of work. And so how do you divide your time? I mean, not only do you have all these platforms that you're dealing with and you're making sure that are being fed, and because these are beasts that have to be fed constantly. It's not like you can just say, oh, we'll put it off for a couple of days. But you also have 3 stations that you have to make sure you're making sure all of them are being balanced right. How do you find the time?
It's something that I really don't look at the clock. You don't look at the time. If it happens, it happens. You go. And I think that's kind of in the heart of journalism. I started, a lot of people don't know, but I started in news. I went to school for broadcast journalism. And so it kind of just, that bug bites you and you go at any time, anywhere. It's not a clock in job. It's not a clock out job. My job doesn't start at 8 a.m. any day of the week. My job doesn't end at 5 p.m. any day of the week. And I'm okay with that. And I love it. I've got the greatest legacy news director in the history of this industry, in Michael Trihey.
Oh,
and I mean,
he's a legend.
He lives for the job, and he makes the joke that he has FOMO when it's weekend, or he has FOMO if he goes somewhere and he's not there at the news station to get it. And so that's for me. Yeah, people would say it's a lot of work, but I have best friends that work in some real tough, hard industries.
Yeah.
A best friend that's a warden at a prison.
Oh, that's hard work.
Best
Yeah.
friend that's a sheriff, and they're out doing construction right now and tarring roofs. And I go, I've got it great.
I know we do.
I've got it great.
Yeah, I don't want my boss to know how much I like what I'm doing there, but I do really enjoy that. We got a break coming up here pretty quick, but I want to ask you one sort of, what sounds like a silly question, but I've always wondered about this. People who live in Bakersfield know that we have 2 weathers, fog and hot, and yet you have a tremendous weather team. I mean, on all the stations and everything like that. Why that much commitment to weather in an area where it's not that, we're not chasing hurricanes and tornadoes?
Great question, right? It's the difference of running a station in Oklahoma City or in Tornado Alley versus Bakersfield. We know 364 days of the year what you're going to see and what you're going to get. But the people love our people. They become a part of that traditional, we're welcoming you into our home every day at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. and throughout the day. And so I've always said our newscast personalities are just beloved. And so for that reason, we say weather is extremely important, not because of the weather, but because of the person that's delivering it.
Yeah.
And so that's why our weather team is, as I said, very robust, and they are the most beloved personalities in the history of news.
Yeah,
in this community,
and very talented. And I'm not just saying that because I work there, but I get to watch them every day, and I see the work that goes into. I mean, it looks so simple once they get up there, but I see the work that goes into it. It's an amazing group of people to be around. It just makes me want to be better. And again, I'm an old newspaper guy, so every day I'm trying to learn a little bit more about this world that you've been kind enough to let me to come into. So I appreciate that. Hey, I'm going to have to go to a break here pretty quickly. But when we come back, I do want to ask about sort of how massive ratings must have went up on your Studio 17 show once you brought in that very charismatic guy to host it. So
we're going to need another hour.
Oh, yeah, or more. So, hey, listen, that's it for this segment. I'm going to send you over to breaks right now, but please don't go away. Derek is going to be back to talk some more TV with us right after this break.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Maxwell in the morning. Good till the last mic drop.
The state of California needs money because of the way we've been spending our Medicare money. They decided that we need to talk to you guys about this. How about if we withhold $867 million from you? Will that get your attention? You now have the Trump administration, and they have greater expectations of you. So if you can't deliver, they ain't going to deliver either.
Weekdays 9 to noon, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Are you craving a mouth-watering sandwich just packed with flavor? Then look no further than Caesar's Deli, where they craft some of the best sandwiches in town. Sink your teeth into our signature classic, Caesar's Special, featuring 2 kinds of salami, premium ham, and the irresistible taste of Nona's secret meat sauce. It's a sandwich experience that you won't forget. That's not the only sandwich they offer. No. Satisfy your cravings with a savory smoked turkey sandwich, or indulge yourself with a loaded pastrami. Or for the adventurous eater, they offer pickled tongue. And here's the best part. Caesar's Deli has incredible lunch specials that are designed to fill you up without emptying your wallet. Plus, did you know that Caesar's Deli has a full-service deli offering a variety of over 60 meats and cheeses? It's a sandwich lover's paradise, and that's why Caesar's Deli has been a local favorite and proudly serving Bakersfield since 1971. Visit Caesar's Deli today and taste the difference for yourself. Located at the corner of Brimhall and Callaway, behind the beautiful water fountain.
Out here in the middle of all these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on earth. And sometimes that's how it feels when you're going through tough times. Stress builds up, you have trouble sleeping, maybe your mind is racing and you just don't feel like yourself. So what do? We get help. Lots of people are struggling with their mental health. It's more common than you think. The good news is, there are people in our community who are here for us when times are tough. Sometimes, just talking to someone can make all the difference in the world, so we don't feel so alone. One thing you can do is visit loveyourmindtoday.org for simple steps you can take to find the right solution for you. Whether it's hearing stories about what other people are going through, or finding the resources we need to navigate the stresses in our lives. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's Love Your Mind Today Institute in the Ad Council.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Well, this is Rick Bentley filling in for Ralph Bailey. I hope that you all didn't leave us. I've still got a lot more to do, and I am continually now being joined by Derek Jeffrey, who's the Vice President and General Manager for KGT, TV, Telemundo, and CW Bakersfield. Derek, thanks for hanging around.
You are absolutely welcome. I apologize to the viewers that I had to follow Andrea because she is a ball of energy. She's usually at volume 11,
I know.
and I come in at a 3.
You're an 8 or a 9. Don't cut yourself short. But if you're going to use Andrea as the level, you're doomed.
Yeah, I know.
We are both doomed. We might as well just all go.
The bar is set.
Derek, I want to talk to you about something that may be a sensitive subject, but Bakersfield is a small market television station, and generally, having covered television all my life, I know these are the kind of markets that people come in, they get some experience, and then they go up to bigger things, and that's what you want to do in your career. You want to get to bigger and better. So how do you adjust to that? How do you say, I'm going to keep on some people, because you have some veterans who've been there for years, but you also get new people come and go. So how do you adjust to that?
So the bench always changes, right? You never have your starting lineup.
Right.
That's always changing. I took a different approach when I came into management, and I said, I understand that this is not your hometown, and I understand you do not want to be here for the remainder of your life. I do. That's okay. I might be a little biased on that. My hometown, I'm here in the best place I could ever be. But what I tell them is the direction and the training and the resources you'll get at KGET, which is one of the greatest TV stations in the entire country, will put you into whatever market you want to go to in 2 years. What a lot of people don't realize is there are 12-month contracts, there are 24-month contracts. And so those graduating seniors or people that are jumping from small market come to us for that purpose, is to get more training, more airtime, and then to move into the market they want to. So I do a lot of recruiting in my position, and it's recruiting for this station, recruiting across the entire nation for our company. And that's what I tell them is, okay, where do you want to go? Where do you ultimately want to end up? And somebody will say, I'm from Dallas, Texas. I would love to get back to Dallas, Texas. And I go, then here's what we're going to do. In 2 years, you're going to learn more than you ever thought. You're going to do a wonderful job. And if you can help put yourself in a position there, I will get you to Dallas. We are the best junior college in the nation, I say, to where I'm going to put you at the Division I school you want to get to. And when you talk to them like that and you recruit them and it's legitimately what you do, and I have a resume down the line saying, here's who's where. I have people that are at the network right now. We have people that are at ESPN, CNN, NBC, San Diego, you name the city. We've got somebody from the KGT roster there. And that might be one of the most beautiful parts of my job and how fun that is to know. I remember being at 22 and interviewing with TV stations, and it wasn't like that. It was, you're going to stay here, you're going to sign a 5-year contract. And I've taken the exact opposite approach of, all right, come to us, do a great job, and I'm going to get you where you want to be.
Yeah, it says a lot about you that you can see that perspective, because I can understand the other perspective. You're investing time, you're investing money.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, drafting a quarterback out of college, and you've gotten to the point where they can actually start, and then they go, oh, I'm going to another team.
Right.
So,
Right.
But I love that idea that you believe in the person more than the job. And I think that means a lot. That being said, you also do have people on the new staff that have been there a while.
Yeah.
And so is that a great way to also have some consistency? Because I know viewers don't, you know, sometimes they don't like change.
Right.
But if you do have those few people that they see every day, does that help with that?
Oh, absolutely it does. And you don't get that kind of tenure at most stations. We are a small market television station, right? There's 210 markets. We're 121. So we're on the smaller side of that. But we operate like a top 15 market, the way KGT plugs. But yeah, you get Jim Scott in there. You get Elena Rusk in there. You get Tammy Milchuk in there. I could just go down the line. You get Candy Casters. They're all major market talent.
Yeah.
But one thing that they found that all of us find is just they buy into this community and they realize how wholesome it is and how good people are. And you can connect with your viewers. The biggest thing about news in this market is you can actually make a change. You can make a change in this market. You can't do that an hour and a half south. You can't do that in major city and markets. You just don't make a change. You just report on something.
Exactly.
And so when they come in here, they understood that and they went, hey, Derek's not full of it. It's a pretty nice place to live and it's very easy to live here.
I don't think this is a personnel question, but I'm going to ask it kind of in general terms. Can you tell quickly when you start talking to somebody that they have the sort of the right stuff, to something that could, and yeah, I'm sure there've probably been some mistakes, but I'm just wondering, is it kind of obvious that there's certain things that you know, okay, that's what I'm looking for?
Absolutely. And so one of the things I've always said, and this is that you've heard this probably a million times from me, it's tattooed on our walls, but there are people that want to be on TV and there's people that want to be in journalism. And I see it very, very quickly if they want to make a change and they actually want to be in journalism, because I promise you about 9 out of 10 resumes want to be on TV.
Yeah.
And they don't make it into our door. And that's something that Michael Trahey and I really press upon when we talk to any candidates and in the resume. And you will see them end up on other stations, but they don't walk in our house.
Yeah. I can't imagine being somebody who just wants to be on TV working for Trahey. I mean, this is, again, people just don't fully respect how great a journalist he is, how great a boss he is, as far as, you know, he is the traditional perfect news guy. You want him, you know, he's the patent.
Yeah.
He's commanding with great skill.
He still reads every word to every script every day with his red pen or his pencil. And you just don't find that with other news directors. You don't find that with assistant news directors, executive producers, 4 or 5 people down the line. And so that just shows we also have a very, very personal investment in what we do, a very professional investment. And I hope that shows.
Derek, how much does it affect you, what you're thinking and your plans, because you're connected to network? I mean, you've got NBC, you've got the CW, you've got Telemundo.
Yeah.
Is that like a major part of your planning strategy? Do you have to start with that because there's certain things you have to do with that? Or is that just part of the whole plan?
It's an agreed upon contract that we will air so many hours of their shows, right? But if something comes up that's a big issue in this market, yeah, sorry, password with Jimmy Fallon's going to get blown out, right? I mean, I have to make that decision all the time, that I go, this is more important. Local first, game show second, local first, network second, whatever it may be. And so For example, we'll go back to that situation that happened downtown. I mean, we went pretty much 24 hours on the clock with that. There was nothing more important, and that's what everybody wanted to consume. But the network used to play a much, much bigger role in our thought process, but really not so much anymore. Because again, we've got the social media reach, we've got the KGT.com reach, and we've got our CTVR Plus, KGT Plus reach, to where I go, okay, if for some reason you're going to bar me on the broadcast, I've got several other platforms, and we'll reach everybody we need to.
Nick, you seem like you've got things in order, but you've got to be the kind of guy that in your back pocket, these are things I'm dreaming about. That's something I'd love to be to this point. Is there anything you can share along those lines, or are you afraid of giving away to the competition?
No, again, I think just seeing the transition and the technology development every 6 months to 12 months in this industry, it keeps me on my toes. There's never been a day where I go, oh, I got this. There's never been a day where I go, oh yeah, okay. Now I've seen a lot and I've figured out a lot, but just again, we're in a technology company where our cameras are outdated every 6 months.
Yeah.
This type of platform doesn't work anymore. And so our job is constantly evolving. And I think that's what a lot of people on the outside don't understand, that I feel like every other day I'm learning something new.
Yeah, well, that's got to keep it fresh for you too. I mean, if it was, it'd be nice if it was the same thing.
Right.
But it's got to just make it fresh to know, oh, tomorrow we may be looking at a whole new way of capturing video.
Absolutely. So, I mean, the most beautiful part of my job is being able to recruit and retain, and that whole portion of it, and just build careers and help people. Second part of that is I get a hand in every single thing we do at that media center. So from the technology issues, from the sales and clients and advertising, from the news that we get to do all day long, administration. So there's not a second of the day where I'm like, I'm bored. What should I do next?
Yeah. Derek, there will be a day eventually, maybe 20, 30, 50 years from now, when you decide, that's it, I've had enough. Yeah, I'm going to give you the chance. What were the couple of things you want them to say about you when that party happens?
That's a great story. It's hard for me to answer for myself that. What I will say is I went to Ray Watson's 90th birthday last weekend.
Okay.
And he was the same way. He would not let me give him a word of praise on himself whatsoever. And I said, without him, we wouldn't be where we are. Without him, we wouldn't be in the position of what KGT and the success is. And he turned the praise back to me and said, I could never do the job that you're doing. And so I just look at that and go, I just hope that there's somebody like Derek Jeffrey praising Ray Watson when I'm at the Ray Watson stage.
I doubt I will be there to do that. I'm a little bit older than you, but look, I'm just honored to be there. It is such a great organization to be around, and you do a wonderful job. You're a great guy to work for, because again, I love the idea that you said nothing was off the table. And to me, I knew this was going to be the kind of conversation I wanted to have. So, Eric, thanks for being here.
You're the best.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Senate has confirmed Cameron Hamilton as head of the embattled Federal Emergency Management Agency. Hamilton was among 74 nominations approved by the Senate on Friday. The former Navy SEAL is returning to the agency he briefly led last year. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy said Friday he'll back Todd Blanche's nomination to be Attorney General, likely paving the way for Blanche to be confirmed to lead President Trump's Justice Department. Blanche's prospective confirmation appeared threatened earlier Friday when Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski announced her opposition. Murkowski cited concern that the administration could proceed with a $1.8 billion fund. On Wall Street, the Dow by 151 points, the S&P advanced 47. More details at srnnews.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN Newsroom.
I'm Rob Archer. Kern County Public Health is now tracking 2 disease concerns. The county has confirmed its first human case of West Nile virus this year. West Nile spreads through infected mosquitoes. Most people have no symptoms, but some can develop fever, headache, body aches, nausea, or a rash. Public Health says you can lower your risk by dumping standing water around your home, using insect repellent, and keeping window and door screens in good shape. The county has also confirmed its first measles cases in more than 20 years. Officials say the 2 cases are linked to a travel-related exposure. Measles spreads through the air and is highly contagious. Health officials say people should make sure they're up to date on the MMR vaccine. I'm Rob Archer in the Kern newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
You know, it must be nice to be able to retire like Serena Williams and then say, I'm unretired. But for most of us, that's not the case. When we hang it up, that's about it. That's why you've got to be prepared for the late fourth quarter in your lives. And that's why I always stress that the smartest financial move I have ever made happened about 10 years ago when I became a client at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. And the other thing I always remind you about, I've turned on colleagues here at American General Media to Daniel, and they could not be happier about what Daniel has done for them financially. Call Daniel Petrie at 395-9400, 395-9400, or just tune in on Thursdays. He appears here every Thursday at 4:30, and his office is located right on the corner of 21st and Oak. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice or a solicitation for advisory services by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Incorporated, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. The program host is a client and receives compensation and other financial benefits in connection with this advertisement, creating a conflict of interest. Experiences discussed may not be representative of other clients.
First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Monday edition of the First Look program, it's going to be packed up. We're going to introduce you to one of 3 Ward 3 City Council people. We're going to do that. We got the hot list. We're going to talk jobs with America's Job Center at Kern. We got news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Yes, this is the Ralph Bailey Show, but I'm not Ralph Bailey. I'm Rick Bentley, filling in for Ralph, who's on vacation. And I just wanted to, before we go any further, I want to make sure that Ralph knows how much I appreciate this opportunity. I'm an old newspaper guy, so anytime I get a chance to talk, it is really exciting. And I enjoy our weekly sessions with Ralph, but I also like being able to take over for the 3 hours and bring on some people who I really admire and appreciate. And hopefully it's both entertaining and educational to you. And one of the things I do, I don't know how much you know about me, is that as I work with KGT, I do a lot of celebrity interviews for them, do a lot of movie reviews that I've talked about on here. You already heard my interview with Bear Grylls earlier here. What I try to do is find programming that I think is good for the family, something you can easily recommend, because that's so hard to do these days. And I found this series that's on Hallmark Channel, and it's on Hallmark Plus to be exact. That's the streaming service for Hallmark. By saying it's on Hallmark should tell you it's pretty family friendly, but just want to remind you that there's a 6-part series that's just started on there called Paris is Always a Good Idea. It stars Lacey Chabert, who she plays an executive named Chelsea Martin who travels to Paris. Her job is to get a major donor for her company, but she's just shocked to find that her rival has been sent over to sort of shadow her, which upsets her. And she was already upset because she had some bad memories of some romances in Paris. So anyway, what I had a chance to talk to Lacey Chabert and to a Scott Michael Foster who plays that the rival of hers who shows up in Paris about Paris is always a good idea. Let's see what they had to say. Hey guys, thanks for the time.
Of course, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Lacey. Hey, Lacey, I looked over your credits for the last few years, and you really had been concentrating on movies. So in this case, you got to play a character over multiple episodes. Was that great to finally get back to be able to expand on a character like that? Or did you feel like, no, I can do it in one?
No, I was thrilled at the chance to tell a story where we'd have the time to dig a little deeper and really, really delve into the arc of all of the characters. This one I fell in love with because it's based on a book which I really enjoyed reading, and our writers did this incredible job of adapting that. It's a beautiful, sweeping love story We traveled to Spain and Ireland and Paris, and getting to spend time in Paris and Spain filming it was spectacular. It's also a family story at the heart of it. And I just think there's a character in this that our audience will find they can relate to for sure.
Yeah. Lisa, I do have to ask, when you're in Paris and you're filming, do you sometimes go, and they're paying me to do this?
Every time, every minute of the day. I mean, any job where I'm, working as an actress telling a story, I'm deeply grateful for it. But to get to do it in this spectacular setting with such wonderful people was amazing. I mean, we filmed under and on the Eiffel Tower. It's a once in a lifetime experience.
Right. Yeah. Scott, I'm going to be kind of delicate, make sure I ask this question away because I don't want to give too much away. But in that first episode, we see him as maybe the potential villain of the piece. But then again, we see there's a lot more to him as we go along. So in playing him, how do you get your mind wrapped around this character that's probably more textured than he appears to be at the beginning?
Yeah, I really liked how he was written because, I think I think it'd be really easy to play him as a villain, right? It'd be really easy to play him as sort of just the bad guy, the foil, but he was never that, right? But I think the banter that they have, the sort of butting heads in a playful way, I think you have to bring some levity to it, and I feel like I really saw that when I read it, and so it was really fun for me to play it because I think it's not at first glance what everybody would do or expect.
Yeah. Lacey mentioned this is based on a book, and Scott. So when you take on a role like this, and there's a book there, do you feel like I'm just going to depend on the script to tell me who I am, or do you feel like you need to go back and read the book to get those little bits and pieces that might not be in the script?
Our scripts were so wonderfully written. All credit to our writers. And I literally found that the way Knightley was written in the script was just so unique and special. And so I just stayed loyal to the script. But obviously, I kind of want to read the book now because I've heard so many good things about it. But we were making a TV show, and I think the series scripts were just so well done. I based it off that.
Yeah. Lacey, when you talk about this movie, do you talk about it as a romance that has family elements or a family movie that has romantic elements?
Ooh, good question.
Thank you.
I think either would fit. I mean, I think it's a human experience. I think everyone at some point in their life has wondered, what if I had made this decision instead of that? And this character not only wonders that, but she actually has the opportunity to revisit those chapters of her life and finally find answers for herself as she tries to find true love. And in the process of doing that, really has to have the courage to be willing to open her heart again, while there's a beautiful family story going along as well. And she really admires her dad and the fact that he has, even after losing his wife, Chelsea's mom, been able to open his heart and has a new love in his life. And that's very hard for my character to accept. And so the journey of coming to that acceptance is a beautiful father-daughter story that I really valued. There's a wonderful relationship with my sister, played by Rebecca Hansen, that I think a lot of people will also relate to. And then it's this epic travel story. So for me, when I read the book and fell in love with it, and then the script, it felt like it had a little bit of everything. And as an actress, that really excited me, and I was super thankful for the opportunity.
And while there's not a lot of it, there's a great relationship between her and her mother.
Yes.
I think that's what touched me the most. So.
Yeah, her mother, she lost her mother 10 years prior, but she is the guiding voice in her life. And, it's something that she carries with her. And I thought it was dealt with very beautifully.
Yeah, I thought the whole production was done beautifully. So, guys, I could talk all day about this, but I got to go. So, it's always an honor to talk with you. Thanks for the time.
Thank you for your support.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, listen, I feel like sometimes it's a struggle to find programming that I can recommend for full families to watch, but Hallmark's always a safe place. And ironically, Hallmark is celebrating its 25th anniversary on television right now. So trust me, if you like their Christmas movies, they have a ton in store. Now I want to switch gears completely to a program that is not for the entire family, but I feel like it's one of the best shows on television right now, and that's the Paramount Plus series, Lioness. This is the one that stars Zoe Saldana as the head of a CIA group that trains lionesses to go into to do CIA work around the world. I had a chance to talk with Jill Wagner and Liza D'Alveria, who star in this show about it. And they talk about the season 3, which has just started. Let's see what they had to say.
You look like my dad.
You look like Jill's dad.
Hi, Big Wag.
Why don't you ever call me?
Oh my gosh, it's so great. I feel like I'm talking to my dad.
Yeah, Rick Bentley, Next Star Media. Got to get in. It's got 4 minutes. Jill, despite looking like your dad, I have a serious question for you. Hey, Bobby comes across as tougher than nails, but I also feel like there is a compassionate, caring side for her when it comes to her teammates. Could you talk about finding the rhythm of that?
Yeah, it's very easy for me because I grew up with my dad and my brother. And as much as I love to roughhouse with them and rib them and give them shit, I would do anything for them when it came down to it. And I think that is her family. Those men are her family, and Joe and Cruz. And I think that is the most important thing to her, is the family and the loyalty there.
Yeah. Well, as I talked about Cruz, I don't know if any character on this show has had so much growth as Cruz during those 3 seasons. Could you just talk about where she started and where she is today?
It's such a beautiful thing to play and experience because the growth translates into my life as well. I mean, you see Cruz, she comes from so much trauma, and she's still, the first season, she's still in the growth period of her life. She thinks things are a lot very black and white. She's a lot more reactive, and then everything happens the way it does, and we see this complete metamorphosis in season 2. And in season 3, you'll see that she's really starting to find where she belongs in that space, and really starting to understand that things aren't so black and white, and kind of see where her life is going.
Yeah. Jill, I know you for so many more family-friendly, sweeter kind of stories, but this character is so wonderful, and I'm just wondering, was it a character you've always wanted to play, or was it you just said, I need to play a character like that to push me as an actress?
No, I forced myself into this show. I'm the only person that Taylor Sheridan didn't handpick for the show.
Because you came up with the idea.
My husband and I came up with the idea for the show. We brought it to Taylor, so I forced my way. However, he believed in me, and I said I wanted to play a woman in the military, and he told me, I'm going to create a character that is going to test you, and boy did he.
Yeah.
But I'm honored to play her because she represents a lot of women that I know.
Yeah. As I got to wrap up real quickly, but I'm just curious, could you just talk real quickly about how this season is going to feel a little different because sort of the conflict has come to our front door?
It's going to feel different because it's a lot more personal than the last 2 missions. There's individual motivation and a lot of ethical lines being blurred, and there's also the element of you want to say the warfare.
It's the modern warfare that we're bringing into this, and something that we have not seen, especially our team. So I think that is also interesting to keep it current.
That's a great show. It's a great show. Joe, make sure you call me on Father's Day at least.
For sure. Okay, Papa.
Okay. Got to go. Bye, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Linus is a great show. It is really not for the entire family. It's got a lot of violence to it, obviously some language to it and that sort of thing. So, but I would highly recommend, if you don't have Paramount Plus, it's worth paying for it to be able to see this show. So both of them are very different programming, but that's what I like about this job is I get to find programming that I feel like can fit different audiences, and both are equally good in their own way. It's really apples and oranges, so I can't compare them directly. But I do feel like that's been sort of the fun part of my job. Sometimes it's easy just to pick out the shows that are massive hits. Why would I talk about how good NCIS is, but when it's the #1 show, or Tracker, or those sort of things, because that you're watching that anyway. It's my job to sort of go out there and sort of plow around and look for programs that I think you should be watching, and you maybe overlook. And again, it's really hard. When I started this job, there wasn't this many TV stations, cable stations, streaming services, online stuff. It is really hard to keep up with it even when I get paid to do it. So I imagine it's hard for you as a viewer. So anyway, those are 2 programs, Lioness and Paris is always a good idea that I recommend that you track them down. I think you'll enjoy both of them. So anyway, that's all I've got to say about programming. I want to talk to you about a new movie that opened today. We'll do that right after the break. So hang around. Come on back, and we will talk about One Night Only.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
Again, the hoodlum kids on the bicycles. You realize that's the whole idea, right? This is a plea for attention. Every time you make a video and then you put it on social media and everybody watches it, those hoodlum kids win. Because that's all they're looking for is the views. And however dangerous and stupid the thing has to be for them to get their clicks, they're going to do it.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
We wouldn't be celebrating America 250 if it wasn't for a strong foundation set by the framers. Hamilton built America's financial foundation on sound money, later embodied by the gold standard. But we abandoned that discipline in 1971 and have seen inflation erode the dollar's value. What's the foundation of your savings? Is it gold or something that can be devalued? Hi, it's Dr. Ron Paul, and I encourage you to speak with my friends at Birch Gold Group about diversifying an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Learn more by requesting a free info kit on gold IRAs. Just text the word SECURE to the number 989898. Let Birch Gold help you build your foundation with gold. Text the word SECURE to the number 989898. Text SECURE to 989898.
And we're back.
We are back.
August is here.
Finally, August.
Pools are open.
Unbelievable.
Spray parks are open. Keeping cool.
4 shopping months till Christmas.
Speaking of that, why, if you go to a big box hardware store, they have Halloween stuff.
Yeah, already.
Seriously, come on out to California Fruit Depot. That's why we're here. We're advertising at California Fruit Depot. Phenomenal shakes, smoothies, fresh fruit, nuts, vegetables.
Nuts. Come get your nuts.
Yeah, come on out. But I want to thank everybody for our 4th of July Fan Fest that we had. 20 to 25,000 people.
25. The Highway Patrol estimate, I don't remember.
That was a good time.
It was amazing.
And the big question of the day was, why don't people carve watermelons? I mean, that is an age-old question.
It is a very good question.
Come on out to California Fruit Depot. Let's talk about it in depth.
Yeah.
And seriously, let's start carving watermelons. Spray a little bug spray like off in there, and you're not going to attract anything.
Perfect.
Good to go.
119.
Google us, California Fruit Depot. Come on out. We're local.
See ya.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, you need the best team on your side. Priority Tax Relief has helped thousands of Americans resolve their IRS problems and settle for pennies on the dollar. As a leading tax resolution firm, we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, hundreds of 5-star reviews, and a 4.9-star rating on Google because we deliver results and huge savings. If you owe $5,000 or more and even facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or IRS letters, call us today at 800-746-3915. Once you call, our tax professionals will call the IRS with you for free, and within minutes, start negotiating a settlement. We'll put a stop to collections and fight to get you the best settlement possible. Choose the company Americans trust most. Call Priority Tax Relief now at 800-746-3915 to see what relief you qualify for. Don't wait. Make the call. Dial 800-746-3915. Once again, that's 800-746-3915.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And thank you for coming back to the Ralph Bailey Show. This is Rick Bentley, filling in for Ralph Bailey. You know, I would be remiss. I come on Ralph's show every week to talk about a new movie that's opening. So before the rest of the show gets away from me, I want to talk about a film that opened today. It's called One Night Only. And the interesting thing about this film is, as I was telling people I was going to review it this week I did my review on air for KGT at noon today. And if you want to read my full review, it's at kgd.com. I said I was going to do this movie, and they said, well, why go? It looks stupid. And I think, well, I need to see a movie before I say it's stupid or not. And this is why I go see movies of all kinds, because yes, the concept of this movie is kind of stupid. But at the heart of this film is a nice, sweet, romantic comedy. Now, for those of you who don't know what One Night Only is, it's about a fantasy New York City world where all premarital sex is illegal. and we are, and everybody, this is all monitored by the government. We have implants in our wrists, but once a year for 12 hours, anything goes. You don't have to put a ring on it to do whatever you want. And so it becomes people really counting down to those moments. And there are two people played by Monica Barbaro. She's an Academy Award nominee, and Caleb Turner, who are planning for a big night. Caleb is his character is ready to propose to his girlfriend. This is going to be the big night for them, and that doesn't go well. Monica's out to find a nice guy. She just doesn't want meaningless moments with somebody, and so she's looking for a nice guy. Now, the film has them come together, go apart, come together, and in great romantic comedy style. What I like about this movie is the fact that people have asked me, how do you judge a movie? Well, when it comes to romantic comedies, the main thing, the key that makes them work is how much I want the couple to get together. If I don't care about them, I don't care about the movie. And Monica and Caleb have such great chemistry together. Yeah, the premise is a little stretched, it's a little pushed at times, but the idea of how sweet they are when they feel like they're going their separate ways, and then their either fate or problems or whatever brings them back together, and they you probably can figure out where this movie's going. It's obviously a sweet, happy movie, so they're not going to end up killing each other or anything like that. But again, I know why you might think that, because the structure of it sounds a little bit like The Purge. But if you remember, The Purge was, you couldn't, one night a year, you could do any killing or murdering or robbery or anything you wanted, and it was okay. Now, other than structure of that one night only type thing, there's no comparison between The Purge and One Night Only. The Purge was about, being evil and brutal and violent. One Night Only is a very sweet story. And I love the idea that it feels like, if you look past the concept, which again, I've already admitted it's not the smartest concept in the world, it is almost a throwback to those days when we fell in love with romantic comedies. Like back when Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks were starring in these, or the best days of Julia Roberts in romantic comedies. It's just this sweet story of a couple not necessarily wanting to fall into bed, but wanting to fall in love. And I really want to compliment Monica Barbaro. She plays a young woman who she puts on a dress that her friend recommends. She looks incredible in it, but it doesn't cover a lot. And she's a little self-conscious about that. And I love that about the character, because it means that she's more than just, a pretty person, that she does have some concerns about how people are seeing her and perceiving her. So she makes the film. I think she steals the movie. I think she is great. I like the way it plays out. There are a lot of cameos in it. I don't want to spoil it for you. Again, for comparing movies, there was a film that came out a few months ago called Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Past. And that one too had a little bit of the same concept. In fact, that was about, what it would be like if married couples had this list where they said, if so-and-so, a celebrity, came to our house, would it be okay to go have relationships with them? And that's the list. You're permitted to do that. But at that point, the two films really go their separate ways. Gail Daughtry was really this silly, stupid comedy. It had a lot of cameos too. That's one reason it also kind of parallels One Night Only. But as far as quality is concerned, I really was surprised. And this always goes back to, I try in doing reviews, I try to mix it up. If it was me, I'm a big fan of science fiction, that fantasy genre. And I would just stick to that if I could. But, that's not fair to the public. We all have these kinds of movies that we like the best. And so I try to rotate. Each week I try to do something different. I told you The Odyssey was, as far as I'm concerned, the best picture of the year right now. I can't see anything being in second place. If maybe Hail Mary is a distant second place, and then you've got Spider-Man that came out. Now, well, I wasn't the biggest fan of the movie, and I've talked about this several times about how I feel like the film does not have a definitive evil character. I like it when Spider-Man fights the Lizard or the Vulture. I can see the good versus evil there. This Spider-Man Brand New Day really doesn't have that to me, and that's why I dinged a little bit. But that being said, both of those movies are still in the theater. They're still dominating the box office. They're still going to take up all the screens in the area. And you get a little film like One Night Only that's going to sneak in one screen here, one screen there. It's going to require you to go out and look for it. But this is a case where I would love for you to see you to go out. I think it's a great date movie. It's rated R. There's some brief nudity and some language to it, and it's obviously sexual situations. It's for adults on a date. But I think you'll enjoy it. Look, it gets a very solid B from me. I'm just afraid that this film is going to get overruled by so much of people wanting to still seeing the Odyssey, which is great. If you haven't seen the Odyssey, please don't shortchange yourself. This film is going to be up for so many Oscars at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. You're going to want to be able to say, "Hey, I saw that movie." And Spider-Man, for you fans, I grew up a comic book fan. I know what it's like when the new comic book movie comes out. Although the last two, I still say Supergirl just missed the boat completely. Even though I don't have a problem with a punk rock Supergirl, I just felt like that movie didn't have a storyline. I mean, Crypto gets poisoned. You go find a cure. That's the end of the movie. And Jason Momoa as Lobo just feels like it's thrown in there. That being said, I'm rambling on about what I'm trying to get to the point of here is give yourself a break. Try something different. Go out and see One Night Only. If you just want a sweet night with a nice romantic comedy, this is the film for you. I feel like you're gonna be reminded that romance still does exist. It exists in the movies, and there's a place to find it in a film like this. Plus, you can also go see the other films. If you haven't seen Spider-Man or the Odyssey, I still recommend going to see those. But there's a place for everything, and that's why when I try to do movie reviews for KGT or when I come on here with Ralph, I try to give you a diversity. You're never going to hear the same thing from me, time after time again. But I do like to find these little films that you probably would overlook. And again, I think it's probably going to get its big audience when it finally hits a streaming service. Everybody's going to come to me and say, "Wow, that movie you recommended, I finally saw it." So anyway, go see One Night Only. Listen, I have survived 2 hours of this show. I got one more to go, and I promise it's going to be as entertaining as the first 2 hours. So come on back.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN. 96.1 FM, K241CI, Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington.
On this vote, the yeas are 86, the nays are 11. The 60 vote threshold having been achieved, the bill is passed.
Senator Darlene Graham reading the vote tally on the Russian sanctions bill, legislation co-written by her late brother, Lindsey Graham. Passage of the package Friday signals renewed bipartisan support for Ukraine as the war drags on. The legislation would penalize countries that continue to buy Russian oil, gas, and other exports. Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy has announced that he will vote to confirm Todd Blanche as Attorney General. On the floor of the Senate, Cassidy explained his support.
But even critics admit that Mr. Blanche knows the law and is a hands-on administrator. He has instructed U.S. attorneys to focus on violent crime, human and drug trafficking, and fraud in programs like Medicare and Medicaid.
Two Republican senators, Alaska's Lisa Murkowski and Maine's Susan Collins, say they will vote no on Blanche's confirmation. A major White House construction project has just hit a legal roadblock, Willie Nelson reports.
A federal appeals court has ordered the Trump administration to halt construction of the planned White House ballroom, ruling that President Trump cannot build it without approval from Congress. The 2-1 decision finds the president lacks unilateral authority for the project. even though the administration says it is being paid for entirely with private funds. The court put its order on hold for 2 weeks to give the administration time to appeal to the Supreme Court. Willie Nelson, the White House.
The Senate has confirmed Cameron Hamilton as head of the embattled Federal Emergency Management Agency. Hamilton was among 74 nominations approved by the Senate on Friday. On Wall Street, the Dow by 151 points, the Nasdaq rose 342, the S&P advanced 47. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, y'all, I'm Willie Robertson.
And I'm Corey Robertson.
We partnered with Echo. It's a new platform, not just streaming.
Movies and series that are safe for your family. I love a podcast.
Plus, Echo Daily Devotionals.
Echo. Hey, Willie, what is Echo?
Echo is my pet squirrel. Okay, now, Echo is not just faith-friendly, it is faith-driven.
Be a part of something better.
Echo.
Echo.
Where I want to be.
That's EKKL.com.
Subscribe now.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments, just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
Families across Kern County are getting ready for the new school year, and thousands got some help this week at Kern County Museum. I'm Rob Archer. The annual Ready, Set, Back to School Health and Wellness Fair handed out free backpacks and school supplies to kids from kindergarten through 12th grade. The event also connected families with health services and other community resources. Kern County Child Support Services says the program has helped more than 40,000 families since it began in 2009. Kern County has confirmed its first human case of West Nile virus this year. The virus is spread by mosquitoes and is most common during the summer and early fall. Most people who are infected have no symptoms or only mild illness. Public health says people should dump standing water around their homes, use insect repellent, and avoid mosquito bites.
Okay, so remind me, we're going to do Stewart first, break, and then the next guy.
Yeah, Ted Williams will come on it. He'll call it 5:15.
And then break again.
We get the German guy.
Got you. Makes sense.
He served a search warrant on Eastern Avenue last week after getting a report of an indoor marijuana grow. Mario Campos was cited and released. The home was tagged as unsafe, and PG&E shut off electricity. Investigators say the case could lead to more charges. Bakersfield new street safety policy is now in place. The city council approved a resolution this week that gives more priority to buffered bike lanes, narrower traffic lanes, and lower target speeds when streets are built or redesigned. Supporters say the changes should reduce serious crashes, but opponents raise concerns about traffic flow and losing vehicle lanes. And the dangerous heat continues. Bakersfield could reach 108 tomorrow and around 110 Sunday, with heat alerts remaining in place through the weekend. I'm Rob Archer in the Kern Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
To the rest well in a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want. Too late. They start shooting in a week. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Well, I don't know if you've been waiting all day for me. Ralph isn't here. This is Rick Bailey filling in for Ralph Bailey. We've gotten through 2 hours of the show. We got one more hour to go. And what I love about Ralph giving me the opportunity to fill in for him this week while he's on vacation is I get to talk to some of my favorite people on the planet. And my next guest is one of them. I am joined on by Stuart St. John. Stuart, are you there?
I am here, Rick, and you're one of our favorite people, by the way.
Oh,
I'm talking to Sheriff Borley here, so you know.
we are almost spoiled the surprise to let people know what we're going to end up talking about. Hey, Stuart, are you by yourself or are you joined by your partner?
Michael should be coming in right now. I know he's calling in.
Okay.
And Michael Plahuta, he'll be here all the way from Australia, but he's in California and Nevada right now. So
Wow. We are international today. I love this show.
We're international. That's right.
Well, Stuart, before we get to the real reason we're going to talk, I do want to tell people that you and I have been working together for decades, haven't we? I think I want to think the first thing that I did with you was you were doing one of the first reality shows. Was that the first thing we did together?
You know, I think it was. We did The Spot. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that because it was at the beach, right?
Yep, it was in Santa Monica.
Right.
It was really the precursor to everything that's going on right now with reality and TikTok and very, very cutting edge. And you came to interview our cast, and then we created a situation in which you were woven into the overall story of the show, which was awesome. You were, of course, took to it like, you know, you've been doing it your whole life.
Yeah, well, and that was it. I was hooked. So I've come back to you time and time again for this kind of opportunity. So, but what we're here to talk about today is your career goes on and on. You've done so much work, but right now you're working on what I consider one of the top shows. What I love about getting to talk about television is that we're in an era now where we're not only just talking about network television, we're not just talking about cable, but we're talking about the internet with programming that's on like YouTube. And that's where we can find your new series. Can you just tell us a little bit about The Swines?
Yeah, I would love to. The Swines is basically a primetime family soap opera, animated, where everybody happens to be a pig. People have described it as Dallas meets Schitt's Creek, which I think is actually a pretty good description.
That's a great description. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of has like the drama, the 80s drama, but it's got a bit of my sense of humor, which is kind of quirky, kind of Schitt's Creeky. It centers around a wildly dysfunctional family named the Swinefields, who live on Hog Heaven Ranch in a little town called Pointersfield. And they're pretty dysfunctional and, loosely based on things that I remember intimately about my own family, which it's been pretty fun to kind of relive that through an animated form. And I play a character named Sebastian St. Figleton, who has been away pursuing his dreams in Hollywood until the only thing he gets offered to him is a vertical drama that he's supposed to direct. And he says, nope, I just inherited 10,000 acres of family land, which sits right up against Hog Heaven. And I'm going to go exploit that land, make a bunch of money, maybe turn it into a huge land project that will drive my family crazy, get the money, and go out and fund my project. So there is where all the conflict starts happening. And you got marriages, affairs, rivalries, missing family members, murder, blackmail, all the stuff you expect from a great soap, and everything kind of through a funny lens.
Yeah.
So we're having a blast.
Yeah. Stuart, I'm not going to let you just slip by this comment, but you said it's kind of based on this whole thing's based on your family, isn't it?
Rick, you got me.
Okay, there we go. I knew that.
You got me. Yeah. They're having a time of their lives watching this. And I think they're actually partly entertained and partly in sheer horror, wondering, what am I going to expose? They live in one big house, and I just couldn't resist. I thought, this is drama. This is perfect.
Yeah, it works so well. Hey, Stuart, I have a quiz for you right now.
Yeah.
What do these people have in common? The Fonz, Urkel, and me.
They're the breakout characters.
There we go.
Need their own show.
Yeah, and that opened it up for you as to talking about. For people who don't know, I am actually one of the voices on the show.
Absolutely. Couldn't be happier. You play. Oh, you go ahead. I'm not going to spoil it. You go ahead.
It feels like I'm tooting my own horn when I talk about it, so I'm just going to sit back and bask while you explain how brilliant this character is.
Oh, you're awesome. We were thinking in season 2 that we wanted to bring the show has really been developed, and every season it gets a little bit larger. We have more characters, more guest stars. And we were like, we need some local law enforcement. And we were having a meeting, and I said, well, I know exactly who to bring into this show. And he's put up with me for all these years and all of my crazy things that I've asked him to do. And that's why I reached out to you, and I'm like, Rick Bentley has got to play this sheriff. And luckily, fortunately for us, you said yes.
Oh, like I was going to turn that down. Goodness gracious.
Well, with that big paycheck I offered,
Yeah.
how do you resist?
Yeah. We do need to talk about, you got to stop writing those checks on rubber.
I know, I really do.
Yeah, yeah.
It has to stop.
Yeah, it has to stop.
We're hoping season 3 things will change a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah. What I love about this is that I got to call back onto my Southern roots. I don't know if a lot of people know I grew up in Tennessee, and Sheriff Borley he's a Southern sheriff.
Yeah, he's great. You brought it all out. At first I think you were reading some lines, and I'm like, I think we need to go a little more Southern. And you said, I can bring the Southern.
I can bring the Southern. Yeah. In fact, it's so funny. I think I've told you this. I've talked about this before. Growing up in the South, you have that you have that Southern accent, and so when I started doing interviews with celebrities, it felt like everybody was talking slower to me. Like, he's Southern, so he's got to be stupid. And so I really have tried to develop this sort of Midwestern accent. But it was nice to go back to the roots. And again, it's just been a fun character to play. And I do want to talk a little bit about the production of it. I'm not the only great voice you have in it. You have a very famous person from one of my favorite Superman movies who's one of the voices in the show also, don't you?
Yes, we do. And a very good friend of mine, Sarah Douglas, who played the villainous Ursa in Superman 1 and 2, who I absolutely fell in love with when I was just but a boy. And we met eventually, maybe 10 years ago. We got her to do a voice in Terra Tremendous, one of our other shows.
Right.
And we just hit it off. We all met, the Wonky Bob boys met her, and we just had a fantastic time. And she has become a fan of anything that I'm doing. And so she saw the first season of The Swines, and we had a conversation. She said, I'll do whatever. I got to get on that show.
Yeah. And she's great.
Invited her.
Yeah,
she is fun.
She is wonderful in it. So, yeah.
She's playing sort of a parody of herself named Sarah Piglet. And she's sort of caught up in a mystery, and she's friends with Sebastian, my character, as we go back in to Hoggywood days. And she's been on there since episode 1 of season 2. So she's part of the series now, really. Great woman.
Yeah.
Great actress.
Yeah, Stuart, I told you this before. I'm really bowled over by the animation in this. I mean, I know this is being produced for right now. It's on the YouTube channel, but it really does feel like network or streaming quality. Are we in an era now? I mean, I know you've been doing this long enough to know that when you were trying to pitch a show or trying to get something on the air, there was a limited number of places you could go. Do we live in a good time now where you do have something like a YouTube where you can actually, get some production rolling, get something to show people? Is that a good thing, or do you still feel like we need to be back in this time when we could just get it directly onto a network?
I think that we are in a time where creators are able to take ownership of their material in a way that we've never seen before. YouTube is sort of a direct competitor to Netflix at this point, and you have the opportunity now as a creator to do your own thing and create your own universe, which I've kind of been doing for the last decade or so with most of my material. Now it feels like everything's catching up to the vision I had, so many years ago.
Yeah.
Because it takes an incredible amount of time coming from the studio system and pitching project after project that you get a no to.
Yeah.
Occasionally you get a yes. And then, I had a fantastic movie I sold to Disney back in the early 2000s called Cupid Returns.
Mm-hmm.
And they bought it, paid me for it, but really the note session, they ended up changing it so much. It wasn't the movie that I brought in, and then it eventually collapsed. And you have enough of those experiences, and you're like, you know what? I did not come to Hollywood or be a creator and a writer, see my stuff, not go all the way through when you spend so much time creating and pitching, writing pilots. So this is a beautiful outlet for me. and my team. And so I'm very grateful that there's a YouTube. And the most difficult thing is, I think, even with movies and television shows, is the marketing. It's getting people aware of the show. That is the biggest battle. We don't have, a multi-million-dollar marketing budget to be able to push this out there. So we have to really rely on good content and word of mouth.
Yeah.
And that's slowly but surely what's been going on with the swine. So
Well, we're
I'm
going
very
to
blessed and very grateful.
Stuart, I have to take a break here real quick, but we're going to continue doing this. We're going to try to get some more attention on the show, because not only just because I'm one of the voices, but I do feel like it's a great quality show. So hang with me. In fact, I think you have a major announcement to make when we come back after the break, don't you?
All right. Yes, I do.
All right. Don't go away. There's still more of the Ralph Bailey Show to come.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Dr. Roland Rodriguez.
Hello, this is Bakersfield General Surgeon Dr. Roland Rodriguez, client and friend of Mr. Paul Sheldon. It is my great pleasure and privilege to relate to all of you my absolute exemplary experience with Team Paul Sheldon. I have also referred a number of my colleagues to Paul Sheldon's office, only to receive the most stellar feedback from my doctor friends regarding the office's expert navigation through the complex maze that is Medicare. And even though Paul Sheldon himself is now facing some temporary health challenges, his longstanding and most experienced and expertly trained team of ladies, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn, continue to masterfully guide the clients through the complicated world of Medicare. You most definitely could not possibly do any better than to reach out to Paul Sheldon several months before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298. Very excited about my weekend. I'm taking a friend who has only been to Casey Steakhouse once, and they were there for an event, so they didn't even eat, but they liked the ambiance.
Do you just want all three?
Yeah, you can put them all on, and I'll get Stuart to introduce.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Saturdays, where they have live music on Saturday. We have a lovely young woman named Lottie that plays. And of course, Bobby and Jimmy are playing live music Tuesday through Saturday in the main restaurant. But again, the ambiance, the age, the restaurant's almost 90 years old, and no one could have ever believed that Cassie Biddle would take this restaurant to where it is now, advancing, adding on to it, just building up on the menu, where it's not just simply all about steaks. I told you about the lobster mac and cheese, the fish dishes, the chicken dishes, you name it. Chef Daniel's done an incredible job of expanding the menu. Where would you rather be than on F Street at KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsor of the Ralph Bailey Show?
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. With burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and local service, our promise to the Central Valley remains the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Welcome back to the Ralph Bailey Show. I am Rick Bentley. We have been talking with Stuart St. John, who is one of the co-producers of the YouTube series, The Swines. Stuart, welcome back.
Thank you, Rick.
Stuart, I believe we've been joined by some other special guests. Would you like to introduce who's with us?
I would. I'll start with, I believe, one of my co-producers, and a man who's essential to the look and design of the swines, who joined us about 12 years ago from Australia, former attorney, composer, artist, Michael Plahuta.
Hey, Michael.
Hello, Rick. Hello, Stuart. Lovely to be here. Thank you.
Lovely to have you here.
Quite the introduction.
You know, before we get to the other guests, Stuart, I want to tell you, Michael, I was just blown away with the design of the swines. I think every frame is almost a coffee book type image with it. Could you just talk about finding that design real quick?
Absolutely. So, well, first of all, thank you, Rick. I think that's lovely to hear. Well, we're really inspired by the great story and script that Stuart's come up with. Telling of the whole world that Oingersfield exists in. It's a little rough, but not too rough. It's a little rural, but not too rural. It's basically selling the idea of this family in Hog Heaven, and they live in somewhat of an elaborate house, but it's not too elaborate. So everything's sort of been designed to be somewhere in the middle between two different worlds.
Yeah, well, it works so well. It's a beautiful series to watch. But Stuart, I think also you have a kind of a major announcement to talk about, and that should be our next guest.
Rick, you know, we've been keeping a little secret in Oinkersfield, and I thought tonight is probably a good time to let the pig out of the bag.
Oh, all right.
We got a brand new character coming to the Swines. He's handsome, mysterious, internationally famous, and apparently he knows how to find a really good hotel. I'm talking, of course, about the one and only Tim Williams, who millions of people around the world know as the original Trivago guy. Tim, are you here with us?
Have you ever looked for a hotel online?
Tim, you have one of those voices. As soon as you start talking, we know what you're pitching. It is just amazing. So I can't imagine how this is going to blend in so perfectly with this show.
Well, Rick and Michael and Stuart, thank you all for having me on the show. I appreciate it. And hello, California. Hello, Bakersfield. Thank you, Kern Radio. I hope I can sell a swine.
Well, Tim, I do have to ask, you have played a gator in the past, so how different is that?
How do you know that?
I know what you were Gator in The Mouse.
Yes, that was a movie a long time ago that really never came out or anything like that. That was with John Savage.
Hey, that's my job to do this stuff.
Rip Torn was in it. Great cast.
Okay. Obviously, you know, you weren't actually playing a gator. As in this case, though, you will be a swine-like character. Has Stuart shown you the designs of the character yet?
I am so thrilled. Mike, did you design that?
I did indeed, yes.
No, thank you so much, because I look pretty buff in that.
Right, obviously. So, but I'm really glad you like it. Yes, thank you.
But I'm very happy with the way he looks. I've already gotten responses from a few friends of mine saying you look great as a pig. And you know, I have to ask you the question, Rick. What did you think of the first time you saw your character? The first time you saw your character.
I couldn't have been happier. I mean, he is the perfect. Well, first off, to be a pig, he has really got a great physique. But again, the uniform fits him perfectly. But I was just blown away with it. I mean, to be part of this, Stuart knows how much I appreciate the work he's done over the years, and to be invited into this world was really just a gift. So,
I agree.
But I do feel like there's going to be a point where the sheriff needs to come and talk to this new good-looking character in town. I think there's got to be some scenes there.
I was going to ask the same thing. I was wondering if I'm going to run into any trouble with you, you know, or you with me, one way or the other, because you're the sheriff.
I think that all starts happening in season 3, knowing the plot lines I've got going on. So yes, I will confirm there will be a crossover between the sheriff and Tom Wilderhawk.
Oh, there we go. Well, we're going to be bringing home the bacon for that. Hey,
that's right.
Hey, Tim, before I do want to talk about the show a little bit more, but I do want to talk about a little bit about the way you were introduced, is talking about the voice of Trivago. Did you ever imagine when you did that first voice, or that first commercial, that it was going to go on this long?
The Trivago? No. I'm not on them anymore. My commercials all stopped at the end of 2019.
I thought I saw you last night. I swear I see you all the time.
Well, then send it to me, please.
Oh, I
give you
will.
the number, 'cause I'd like to see it. If it's some kind of AI that looks like me, then there's something going on there. But nonetheless, please send it to me.
Well, it did go on a long time, right?
Well, it did go for quite a long
Yeah.
time, yes, and I was completely surprised by that, shocked by actually, because being living in Germany, being an actor living in Germany, and somebody asking you to do. First of all, I did a voiceover. They had a commercial running here, a test commercial running in America, and they needed an American voice to do a voiceover. And then I got a call like 3 weeks later after I did that voiceover, and they said that we would like you to be in front of the camera for our next commercial. We're going to do 2 or 3 commercials at one time and, run them and see how they go. And then it blew up because, of course, no belt, and I looked scraggly. I looked horrible, kind of. My hair, the clothes were big.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made all the press, was just the way I looked, I guess. I really don't know, because the press guy from Trivago called me one morning, and he was like, I'm sure maybe you read this, that he goes, "You're trending," and I'm like, "All right, I'm trending. I don't know, what do we do now? What does that mean?" And so we started taking these trips to New York and to different places, and doing interviews with like ABC News and CBS, and I'm like, why are we doing these interviews for a commercial? For because I guess because it blew up somehow, and that's what I surely hope is what happens with the swines.
Yeah.
That we can get this thing, including you and all of us together doing this. That we can come together as this team that I just got introduced to, and I'm grateful. Thank you guys again. To become Tom Witherhook, and I have, like you, Rick, you probably didn't know what your character was going to be getting into, and
Didn't matter.
Stories that it doesn't matter.
Nope.
It's like daily life. Surprise me with what happened today.
Yep. Hey, heading up toward a break real quick here, but I do want to ask Stuart and Michael, I want to ask you one quick question. When you're creating a new character, does the design of the character come first, or does the voice casting come first, or does it just differ from character to character?
It really differs from character to character. And Michael, you might want to speak to it, but it's about the inspiration, because the scripts are written earlier. And as you know, Rick, I think you followed me. I'm very fast at shifting tone and shifting storylines. So some of the things we are already designing, and then we might cast somebody and we kind of go in that direction of the casting as the final art.
Yes,
sort of our
absolutely. I've found, I would say that most of the time it's definitely come from Stuart. It's always an idea first, something that's been written to the script. We get a good idea of who the character is, a very rough idea, and then it all just forms into the design. So I would definitely say that 9.9 times out of 10 it's always coming from the script and the story first, and what are the characters' traits, and what's their personality, and also how they fit into the show and into the orchestrated world as well.
Yep. Well, gentlemen, we're heading up toward the break right now here. I still got lots more questions for all of you, so if you guys are willing, hang around for a little bit. We'll still talk more swines right after this break. This is the Ralph Bailey Show. I'm Rick Bentley. Hang on. More to come.
The administration is moving ahead with its efforts to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook 2 months after the Supreme Court allowed her to retain her job while she fights the president's effort to terminate her over mortgage fraud allegations that she has denied. Pakistan, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia have signed a mutual defense agreement. The deal means an armed attack on one is considered an attack on all. It was signed Friday during a meeting in Saudi Arabia. The agreement aims to strengthen collective deterrence against aggression. Meanwhile, Iran-backed Houthi rebels have increased attacks on Saudi-linked targets. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 151 points. The Nasdaq rose 342. The S&P 500 advanced 47. More on these stories at srnnews.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Rob Archer. Kern County's wine grape industry is shrinking. County crop reports show wine grape acreage fell from more than 25,000 acres in 2020 to fewer than 19,000 in 2024. Growers say there's too much supply, demand is down, and costs for labor, water, fertilizer, and insurance keep climbing. Some are tearing out healthy vineyards because they can't find buyers or because selling prices no longer cover their costs. A 64-year-old Taft man has been arrested after deputies say they found 111 pounds of processed marijuana at his home. The sheriff's office says Mario Campos was contacted during a search last week, and Bakersfield's new street safety policy gives more priority to bike lanes and lower target speeds when streets are built or redesigned. I'm Rob Archer in the Current Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Are you craving a mouth-watering sandwich just packed with flavor? Then look no further than Caesar's Deli, where they craft some of the best sandwiches in town. Sink your teeth into our signature classic, Caesar's Special, featuring 2 kinds of salami, premium ham, and the irresistible taste of Nona's secret meat sauce. It's a sandwich experience that you won't forget. That's not the only sandwich they offer. No. Satisfy your cravings with a savory smoked turkey sandwich, or indulge yourself with a loaded pastrami. Or for the adventurous eater, they offer pickled tongue. And here's the best part. Caesar's Deli has incredible lunch specials that are designed to fill you up without emptying your wallet. Plus, did you know that Caesar's Deli has a full-service deli offering a variety of over 60 meats and cheeses? It's a sandwich lover's paradise, and that's why Caesar's Deli has been a local favorite and proudly serving Bakersfield since 1971. Visit Caesar's Deli today and taste the difference for yourself. Located at the corner of Brimhall and Callaway, behind the beautiful water fountain.
First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Monday edition of the First Look program, it's going to be packed up. We're going to introduce you to one of 3 Ward 3 City Council people. We're going to do that. We got the hot list. We're going to talk jobs with America's Job Center at Kern. We got news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And welcome back to the Ralph Bailey Show. This is Rick Bentley filling in for Ralph. We are in the process of talking about a new YouTube show that I am a part of. I got the great pleasure of getting to provide a voice for this show. It's The Swines. Stuart, you still there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, my question is for Michael right now. Michael, I've done this long enough to know that there was a time when animation took years before, you wrote the script and it took for years before we finally saw it. Are we living in a technological age now where we can have sped that up?
We are. I would say that we have a much quicker process these days than a lot of traditional animation does. But I would also say that we're using a lot of the same tools that traditional animation does use also. So even though there might be smaller teams involved in the process these days, it is still quite lengthy, but not as lengthy as, say, a traditional process.
Okay. Hey, Tim, I want to talk a little bit about finding the voice. When you do a voice like this, are you using the same muscles you do as an actor, or does it feel like you've been stripped away of most of your tools that you normally would use just because you're working with your voice?
It's a good question because, I mean, I wrote a message to Stuart the other day saying that I think I'm just going to use my regular voice in this character because I think it'll fit perfectly.
It's a great voice.
It'll probably be most recognizable to a lot of people.
Right.
So I think that's important for the show and for my character, and just to make things easier when I'm recording. Instead of having to go do something like, if I had to go, like, Michael would make fun of me right now if I had to do an Australian, Something like that, right? Yeah, all the time, right, mate? You do that, right? You make fun of me, saying that sounds horrible. But to come up with these voices, and I'm a singer as well. I sing and I do music. So yeah, using these different vocal muscles, like you say, to get to certain points in certain parts. Like if I did a certain voice for, let's say, a character or this character, and I had to retain that voice, I would try to speak it around the house mostly all the time, to my mother, to my friends and everybody, and it would drive them crazy. But I would just keep doing it over and over until it stuck with me. And then I'd have to come back to it again when we recorded. So I'm not really trying to change my voice this time around because I think it's important to keep it original as possible.
Yeah, when you got a great voice, I wouldn't mess with it whatsoever. Hey, Stuart, let's talk a little bit about. We haven't talked a little bit where people can find this show, how many episodes there have been, seasons, that sort of thing. Just give us a breakdown a little bit about the show. The nuts and bolts of it.
Sure. You can watch the show on YouTube at Swines Official is the YouTube channel, and we're in the middle of or toward the end of season 2 right now. So there have been the first season with 5 episodes. We're moving into episode 7 of an 8-episode season, second season. But there's so much good stuff. I mean, you can watch the weekend marathon on Saturdays and Sundays, which replays the shows back to back. So if you haven't seen the Swines, you can catch up on the weekend and see all the episodes together up to the very newest episode. We have daily clips as YouTube shorts, which are very popular. It's another way of getting the show out there. We put up like 15, 20, 25 second shorts that are culled from the actual long form show, the 16:9 widescreen show. But that is our main hub, the 16:9. Every other week, every 3 weeks, we release a new episode.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty quick turnaround for an animated show. The challenge of YouTube, of course, is that you constantly have to feed it. So we have been immersed in this world for the last 12 months straight. I mean, it has been nonstop. It takes an incredible amount of time because it's not only the show, you've got to put up, community posts to engage people. We're at the point now we've been able to start merchandising the show. So we have products that can come up. You can go buy Swine's merchandise at wonkybotshop.com. If anybody wants a Swine t-shirt or mug. So we're just sort of branching out. It's just about keeping people engaged with the content, and it's challenging, but it's very rewarding. We get comments from viewers who absolutely think that in this time that we're living in today, the Swines is a breath of fresh air. It makes them feel good. They love the characters. They love the drama. Over and over and over, they talk to us about this feels like, big primetime soap, and they love the fun. So, yeah, YouTube. Please go to YouTube. Please subscribe because when you subscribe to the show, it really helps the algorithm. It helps YouTube push out the show to more and more people. But we are very, very happy with the community that has started to kind of build around the Swines, and people are coming back and making comments. And, when you start having that kind of recognition, it's wonderful. And we really value our fans that are starting to.
I think, Stuart, you have to say subscribe and pound that like sign.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Tim and I both will agree that we want to get as many people watching so we can keep doing this because it is really such a fun opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah,
we're having a blast.
Yeah, Tim, do you have other projects going on, or is this right now? This in the music world are those the two things you're concentrating on right now?
Well, to tell you a little quick truth, I mean, I came here back in 2024. I've been living in Berlin, Germany for the last 24 years.
Wow.
And I came back from Berlin in 24 to take care of my parents. To make a long story short, my dad passed last year.
I'm so sorry.
I'm taking care of mom. Thank you very much. Taking care of mom now. She has a few issues, but she's staying strong and doing her thing. So I've kind of been away from everything for a little while. And to get back into a creative mode right now is such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling to be a part of something like this. And you guys still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
And I do have another project going on at the moment where right after I do my first dialogue coming up here next week, I guess, sometime, I will be filming a few scenes, just short little scenes from our film that we created that we want to produce and get done. So we're going to film a few scenes from that and try to put that together as a little pitch or little sales thing to see what we can do with it and see how it looks and see if we're on the right track. So it's just a little test run, and we'll see where that goes. As far as everything else goes, the last thing I did, like professionally, I did something in Germany. But the other thing I did was the last time I remember being on location was in Kiev, Ukraine. 10 days before the Russians came in, we went back to Germany.
Wow.
And so
there's a book there.
That's an art installation piece that's from a German artist, Julian Rosenfeld. And you can only catch that in galleries, big gallery shows and things like that. But they have put together a cinema production of it. So let's see if that comes out and what goes on with that. I'll keep you guys informed.
Yeah. Stuart, that's one thing I like about you. You always surround yourself with talented people. And so, being part of being a little part of that makes me so proud. Hey, Michael, I should have asked this earlier, but I'm very curious. Has Stuart ever written something in a script that you had to produce the visuals on that you went, what were you thinking? We can't. Or is it animation just opens the door for everything?
Well, it's
Michael,
a bit of
if you
both.
talk
I'd
about the
say that,
UFO thing,
the
I'm
wonderful
gonna
world
just
of animation opens
fall out
up a
of my
lot of
chair.
doors, a lot of imaginative pieces. But Stuart and I really, really work closely together once he's written the script, and we go through the scenes really, really carefully and identify any potential issues. But I would say that for the most part, everything has been pretty much pulled off with relative ease. And also, too, I mean, the fact that we do have anthropomorphic characters with snouts on them initially, you know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
I mean, that's one really interesting aspect of the visuals. Our earlier tests, there were some issues with it, which we overcame. But yeah, I would say that for the most part, going over everything really, really closely with Stuart, we were able to identify any potentials. But other than that, I would say that, yeah, there have been some wacky, really crazy ideas. Lots more to see in the next season coming up, as we'll see, and even over the next 2 episodes as we veer towards the season's end. So yeah, you'll see.
Yeah. Hey, Stuart, I think we were supposed to be joined by one other member of the cast, but I don't see him calling in yet. So could you just give us a little breakdown on Marco?
Did he fall asleep?
Marco has been texting or calling in, but he said that let me just see.
Try one more time.
Yeah, we're going to try one more time to get him in before we have to go to the next break. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Marco is wonderfully gifted, talented guy that he's in Germany, Berlin, Germany.
Okay.
And he's one of those discoveries that we had met each other and I heard his voice. And I'm always casting in my head. I'm always casting for something unique, something different. I kind of have that David Lynch approach to casting. I find people that I really love to work with who are good people. And so I gave him a test script and he recorded some lines and I said, this is it. I know this character is going to be hysterical because I want this snooty, German accented character who lives in Oinkersfield and runs a very snobby community theater. And I couldn't stop thinking about how funny that was. And his character
Stuart?
is an old rival.
Stuart?
My character. Is he there?
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you, but Marco, are you there?
I am there. Hello from Germany.
Oh, what great technology we live in. Hey, Marco, this is Rick Bailey with the Ralph Bailey Show. We've been talking for a while about the swines, and we were just talking.
I listened to every syllable you said.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing.
Well, what's it feel like
to be? I really enjoyed the show.
What's it feel like to be part of this show?
It's thrilling. It's overwhelming. I'm blown away. First of all, thank you so much for having me at this, and good afternoon.
Our honor.
Good night from my side. It's 2 a.m. in the morning here, but I'm a huge fan of this show, and I wanted to do this, and I'm so glad that I could participate. And please take my apology. I'm not a native speaker, so I'm a little bit nervous.
Your English is better than mine.
My first interview that I ever did, especially live on air. So please forgive me if I am a little bit shaky.
Yeah. Well, how does a German pig speak?
I think it speaks just as any other pig from any other part of the world, just in his behavior.
Good.
Well,
he's fast.
Marco, were you surprised though when Stuart said, I got this part for a swine and I thought of you? Now, is that a compliment, or did you think, wait a minute, what made you think that?
It doesn't work exactly this way because well, we were chatting a little bit. We got to know each other about social media, and one day he was telling me about the show and what he's doing. I said, oh, this is so exciting. And then I was on the way and I couldn't type all the way, and I sent him a voice note, and he said, oh my God, I love your voice, I love your accent, and would you like to be a part of the show? And I said immediately yes.
Yeah, Stuart, it must have just been a dream come true because his voice is so distinct. And so, again, you say you're casting all the time. So I got to imagine as soon as you heard him speak, that was it.
I was like, this is it. And the idea of this character, I'd had an idea for a character that owned the community theater, but I hadn't gone this way with the character, which was international German. So when I heard his voice, I thought, this guy can pull this off. He was a little nervous about it. He hadn't done anything like this. And I said, no, Marco, trust me. I believe in you. And the whole team at WonkyBot believed in him the minute we started hearing his voice and some of the performance. And I'm thrilled because he plays a terrific character, Maximilian Schweinhausen.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And also, please let me add, anybody at WonkyBot is doing an amazing job, and everyone was encouraging me that I can pull it off, and they said, come on, go for it. And I'm so happy to be a part of the show, really. It's an amazing experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm sure the other voice actors can add to this. Stuart does such a great job at directing directing a voice talent. I basically come in and fumble my way through till he finds the right sound for me. So he's great at this. So I would imagine that you must feel that way when you guys are working with him.
Absolutely. I can only agree with you, especially because it's the first time. I've never done something like this, and I think I can trust the whole team, and especially Stuart, and he's helping me. We are reading the lines together, and then he said, oh, maybe give this another tone or like that. But mostly he said, oh, I love it. And he's always laughing. And he said, it's hysterical. So I think this is just a match. So this should have come together.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, my time is about to run out here for this segment here. I want to thank each and every one of you for calling in. Marco, you've got the tremendous voice. I can see why Stuart put you in a cast. Tim, I've always thought you had a great voice all through the years. So it is an honor to be a little part of the show with you. Stuart and Michael, you guys are doing tremendous work. And so I hope that this gets you at least a few more people watching the Swines, because it is really quality work out there. And again, there's such a big world out there of stuff to watch. It's always nice when we can shine a spotlight on something that's this good. So, gentlemen, I cannot thank you enough for being here. I really appreciate your time. Let's go Swines.
Rick, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being part of our world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rick, for having us on the show.
My honor, guys. All right, guys, we got a few more seconds left in the show for me to say goodbye. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
Valley Plaza Mall has introduced a new preferred parking program to give shoppers the option of having a guaranteed upfront parking space in a section of the parking lot for a fee. And by the way, this is taken off all across the country. You want to park up close, you can, but you're going to have to pay for it.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
If you're a local businessman and you take your IT seriously, there are two things that you absolutely need to do. One, you need to listen to the Ralph Bailey Show on Wednesdays at 3:30 when Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne, owner-operators of Adaptive Networks, come in, basically talking to business folks on what you should be looking for, what should be alarm bells when people are coming back and fixing the same thing over and over again. And the next thing you need to do is pick up the phone and call the Van Alstyne.
No, it's been great. Honestly, it's been very smooth.
I felt like it's a good show. It had a lot of different elements to it.
Oh, 100%. I loved it. It has been awesome.
Yeah. I didn't want to do all those from the swine, but they kept saying, "Can we add? Can we add?"
Yeah.
Like, well,
No, it's fine. Honestly, we have up to 4. I don't know why the guy from Germany's call didn't get through until the very end, but
we got him in. And that's the main thing. So
it is what it is. But no, it worked out really well.
they got 50 minutes of airtime. I think that's enough. So.
Well, and again, it's a great show too. I've checked out a couple of the episodes since you told me you've been in it, so it's really fun to watch.
Isn't it? I mean, considering it's a YouTube production.
Yeah.
I think the visuals are good.
I meant to ask, and I maybe if we can get further into it, but are they connected to the Brickleberry show that Daniel Tosh led on Comedy Central? Because no, not at all. As I say, because the animation kind of reminds me of it a little bit.
No, they're completely separate.
Oh, okay, well that makes sense.
And I just keep my fingers crossed that somebody picks them up. So
We'll see. I'm sure that it'll happen eventually. Netflix looks for these types of shows all the time.
Yeah, and my days as the sheriff will be over because
Well,
I get it. They're going to want Owen Wilson, or something.
But see, you could always say you were the first ever voice of the sheriff, and that's the good thing. It's always fun.
Yeah.
And Amazon will call at some point, I'm sure. They pick up all these shows.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I think it's a good idea that they have YouTube to build up that.
Yes.
Something to show.
Yes, 100%.
You get it on the air with this.
Yes.
Ready.
Have a little bit of a source, and then everybody can just pull from that. You're going to have about 5.5 minutes till we're getting out of here.
That's fine. I'm just going to say thanks to everybody.
Cool.
And, yeah.
All shakes, smoothies, fresh fruit, nuts, vegetables.
Come get your nuts.
Yeah, come on out. But I want to thank everybody for our 4th of July fan fest that we had 20 to 25,000 people.
25. The Highway Patrol estimate, I don't remember.
That was a good time.
It was amazing.
And the big question of the day was, why don't people carve watermelons? I mean, that is an age-old question.
It is a very good question.
Come on out to California Fruit Depot. Let's talk about it in depth.
Yeah.
And seriously, let's start carving watermelons. Spray a little bug spray off in there, and you're not going to attract anything.
Perfect.
Good to go.
119.
Google us, California Fruit Depot. Come on out. We're local.
See ya.
Hey, folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to The Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
World of pure imagination.
Hey, this is a wrap up of the Ralph Bailey Show for today. I cannot believe I survived 3 hours. As I said the last time I did this, I make fun of Ralph saying, "Oh, you're not really working." It takes a lot to put this thing together. I hope you enjoyed the guests we had today. I hope you enjoyed all the work that went into it. I do want to thank everybody who participated in today's show. That would include Julia Means from the Kern County Science Foundation. Hey, listen, that organization is really doing a lot to educate our kids as far as science and technology and engineering and math. If they need the money, but more than that, they need the support. They need volunteers. So, if you got a few minutes, just reach out to them. They are doing great work. I also want to thank Captain Clinton Trimmer from the Salvation Army. I have been a big supporter of the Salvation Army for years. Those people are just amazing. They devote their lives to you guys, to making sure there's food on people's tables, the lights stay on in their house. It is a thankless job, and I think we should take a moment and thank them for all the hard work they do. Again, support. If you can afford it, the money helps. If you can't afford it, there's always your time. And again, do the bell ringing. If you decide to do it and want to challenge me, I will go head to head with you as far as the bell ringing concerned. I also want to thank Andrea Hansen, who's the executive director of Kern Dance Alliance. I wasn't kidding when I talked about This is an amazing organization. And don't blow it off because you think it's only about dance. Yes, they do deal with dance, and they are incredible dancers. And look, dancers are great athletes. I will argue to my dying breath that they are true athletes. But this organization does so much more. Just the simple fact they've given out so many books, helping with literacy, helping with autism, just opening up the doors for so much as far as the creative process is concerned. They need all the support and help you can get. Again, money or time, any of that is welcome. I want to thank Derek Jeffrey from who's the VP and General Manager of KGT, Telemundo, and CW Bakersfield for being here. And full disclosure, yes, I do work for KGT, but I was really impressed with the fact that he was the one that said no topic is off the table. I have been in these situations where, the general manager, even if you work for him, are just going to say, you're not going to talk about this. And he was very open, and I appreciate that. And then I want to thank all the guys from the Swines, Stuart St. John, Michael Pilata, Tim Williams, who's that Trivago guy, and last but not least, as I'm losing my Marco Corell, I hope I pronounced that right, who is based in Berlin, Germany, who's one of the voices. Guys, that is a tremendous show on YouTube. I know I'm part of it, so you think, oh, he's got to say that, but I was a fan of it before they had me come in and do a voice. And being a voice talent in an animated show has always been one on my bucket list. I just feel like animation is really the great American art form. And to be part of that, there's really kind of this feeling of immortality, that your voice is going to be there, centuries after we're gone. So, and then to be associated with something that good. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out, subscribe. We need to, I think this is a show that really needs to find a place on the network or streaming or somewhere. It is just that good a quality. Again, I want to thank Chris for hanging in there with me as my producer. I really put him through the paces today with all the phone calls and all the guests. Chris, you made this as easy as possible for a guy who doesn't do this on a normal basis. You're great.
Well, I do what I can, sir, but you did a great job building this show. It was a fantastic episode.
Yeah, well, I take great pride in this, and I feel honored to get asked. And I'm always afraid that I'm going to mess it up, and I feel that would disrespect what Ralph has built over the years, what anybody in radio has done over the years. I am, I'm a newcomer to this area. I do the best I can, so I hope you did find at least something during the show. I try to have it as diverse as possible. Everything from local charities to movie review to pointing out a couple of TV shows to watch. So I hope you found something that entertains you. If not, I'm Ralph Bailey. I'm just using a different voice. So yeah, just blame Ralph. Next time I'll just talk about golf the entire time, and then you'll be very happy, won't you? So, but again, I thank you for giving me any time you gave me today to listen. It is an honor when people will share their life with you, whether it's on TV, when I did newspapers or in print. Again, it is just amazing to get to do this, and I'm very honored. Again, it's the Ralph Bailey Show, and Ralph will be back. I hope you enjoyed today. Thanks a lot.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K241CI, Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump is once again trying to remove Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook.
Last year, President Trump accused Cook of mortgage fraud.
No, she seems to have had an infraction, and she can't have an infraction, especially that infraction, because she's